What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Blazers Uprise post-game show here on a Saturday night. The Blazers break their losing streak. They actually win a basketball game today, beating the Washington Wizards 127 to 118. It was the Josh Hart masterclass. That's what this game was. The Blazers, fun win, I guess. Lots of players played well. Watford, career high. Drew Eubanks, career high. Josh Hart, by far a career high. He dropped 44 points in this one. Good performances on the offensive end. This looked like an actual basketball team tonight, and we're going to get into it. I say we're going to get into it because Eric should be joining us at some point. His computer is deciding to give him the runaround right now, so I don't know how long that's going to be, but I'm going to solo stream until Eric is able to join us and talk about this game. Hopefully you all are having a good night tonight. The Blazers, they had a good night tonight, or a bad night tonight if you're rooting for them to tank things out the rest of the way. I thought it was funny that some people seemingly thought this team was going to lose every game for the rest of the year. The Blazers have the easiest schedule the rest of the year, and this was a Washington Wizards team, which is a travesty right now. The Wizards started the season hot, and I remember me and Eric discussing if it was fluky and how far they'd fall off. Well, at this point, they're an absolute mess. Bradley Beal out for the year. He did not play tonight. Kristaps Porzingis, their new trade deadline acquisition, did not play tonight. So it was the Kyle Kuzma versus Josh Hart show. Former teammates with the Los Angeles Lakers. And Josh Hart got the better of Kyle Kuzma. I got to think about what I want to get into without Eric and what I want to get into with Eric, but I also don't know when his computer is going to chill out on him. So what's going on, chat? I could ask questions to start the stream off before we dive into things. We actually have some basketball to talk about today. We'll talk about the draft and March Madness a little bit later tonight. The selection show is tomorrow. I'm going to be, there's Eric. There's the good old ringtone. I don't even have to think about what I want to do and what I don't want to do anymore because we got this man on the stream. I just got to wait for him to mute the YouTube video. All right, cool. Eric's here. Your computer decided to let you on the stream. I've been holding it down for like 2 minutes. How's it going?
Yeah, I was watching. It's going okay. I mean,
are you like me when we won those 4 games in a row? Is that the mood right now?
I don't know. I mean, it was still fun watching like Watford play really well. Eubanks and Hart obviously had good games, but yeah, it's just like it's gonna cost us in the end.
Yeah, and that was so. When we won those 4 games in a row, I had to put on a, this is fun face, because it seemed like every other Blazer fan was enjoying that and having fun, and there were some things to enjoy about that, of course. I enjoyed Anthony playing well during that 4-game winning streak right before the All-Star break, but on the inside, I was like, we don't want to be winning these games, right? Basically, it's a situation, it's a direct correlation one way or the other. If we lose more games this year, it's more likely we'll win more games next year. If we win more games this year, it's more likely we'll lose more games next year. I'd rather win the games that matter, and that's going to be next year, individual performances like this were fun. I caught myself just rooting for Josh Hart to score because there was a point where I was like, yeah, we're definitely winning this game. I wanted Josh Hart to get 50 points, and he couldn't get a shot the last 5 minutes of the game, which was a bummer because he had a true chance to get a 50-point game on his resume. But yeah, on the inside during that 4-game winning streak, I was like, I was not happy with those wins whatsoever. And I'm glad because you seemed happy during those wins, Eric. You seemed indifferent. I'm glad that you've joined me.
It wasn't that I was happy. They were actually playing really well. And I mean, you can say they didn't have the talent or whatnot, but I mean, we've barely seen Ant since that streak. They decided to sit Nurk because we played so well. Hart missed some games from one including rest, which coming back from the All-Star break, I don't know if you necessarily need rest. I don't know, load management at that point. But yeah, it was seeming, and Winslow hasn't played since the break, I don't think. So yeah, kind of. We'll never know if that streak was sustainable or not, or if it was just kind of a fluky 4 games. And that's the reason why I was having fun during that win streak, was because it was like almost to the point like, well, why can't this continue? I mean, Nurk and Ant are playing great in the pick and roll. The defense is improved. Hart's fitting in well. Winslow's fitting in well. Like, I thought at the time that maybe they could win enough games to get in the play-in, and then, if you get Dame back and all that, like, who knows what happens. But I mean, I wasn't like saying that they were going to do it, but like the intrigue of like, oh, this would be kind of interesting if Anthony Simons is able to carry this team to the playoffs, whereas now without Ant playing, like, it's just, I've lost that part of like, oh, as long as Ant does well and we win, that's okay. But if it's because like Ben McLemore goes off for 30 or whatever, like I don't want that, right? That's the kind of attitude I had. So, but like right now, it's almost like we had a scheduled loss for the Wizards tonight, and we tried our best to do everything to avoid that scheduled loss, since they played last night and they're not very good either. But yeah, unfortunately, we just played too well tonight. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy for the team. Like, they played hard and they've been playing hard, and they've been getting blown out simply because they're overmatched in most games. But like tonight, they actually brought it and played well. So like, it's encouraging to see them play well. It's just kind of, like I said, overall, if you're worried about the long-term success of next year, it's not good to win any games from here on out.
I did a chat poll. I asked, how are you feeling about the Blazers winning this game? The 4 options I put, Eric, were happy, indifferent, mad, and sad. Right now, 33% are happy, 33% are indifferent, 20% are mad, and 15% are sad. Okay, so slight majority on like the mad, sad. I should just put those together, but I thought it was funny to put both of those. Well, so it seems like everybody's pretty split between happy and different, and then either being like sad or mad about the Blazers winning this game.
Here's the other thing too. Like, we're getting no help in the standings.
That's what's frustrating. So it's like, we've been sitting here, Eric, like, can the Kings please win a freaking game? Can the Spurs please win a freaking game? Can the Knicks win a freaking game? And then it was like, we finally had the Spurs win a game. They beat the Jazz. They beat the Jazz, and it was like, yes, they finally won a game. We are finally ahead of them in the standings. We finally moved up from 8th to 7th in the lottery odds, and now we have a 32% chance at making it into the top 4. And I was excited today for a take-a-thon sim, because it was like, oh, we have the 7th place lottery odds. We finally moved past San Antonio. And then what happens today? San Antonio loses. The Pacers won, which, here's the thing, if we're worse than the Spurs, then them beating the Pacers was a good thing, because maybe we could catch the Pacers. But what happens today? The Spurs lose. We lose that game that they finally freaking won, because Josh Hart decided that he was Damian Lillard tonight and just went bonkers, hitting 4-point plays, and yeah, it was just a Josh Hart masterclass. Like, that's cool and fun and all, but it's almost,
the Kings are an embarrassment.
The Kings are an embarrassment. It's just like, we've been rooting for these trash teams to win games that they don't want to win, so losing a game of progress feels monumental, because these trash teams are terrible that we're trying to be worse than.
I mean, I think we talked about this last game. It's something like 16 games in a row if we didn't win those 4 games. So, and despite all that, we're still not passing these teams. Is so frustrating. And now unfortunately, yeah. But like, it would be okay to win some of these games if the Kings were just doing a little better, if the Spurs were actually doing a little better, if the Pacers could get their heads out. Like, we'd be okay, fine. It's cool. We're gonna win some of these 11 games stretch where we play all those bad teams. We're gonna win some of those games. So it's
well, that's not the thing.
Yeah.
We have a really easy stretch coming up. It's like, this team's going to be able to win some of those games. I don't know, man.
Yeah. So
we could be looking at a playing spot. I mean, I don't know.
That's where my problem is. It's like, you're looking at the standings, and it's almost like we have to lose every game to have a chance to move up past like seventh. Like we could still win a few, I think, and get seventh as long as we lose to the Spurs. We pretty much have to lose all three games to them. But as long as we do that, I think we're pretty safe in seventh. But like anything more than that, and we can't win games like this. So, yeah, I was looking at it from a mentality of we pretty much had to lose out to pass some of these teams. And yeah, so seventh might be our ceiling. And that's fine. I mean, it's still good, but for how monumental of a tank job we're trying to pull off, it just started too late, in my opinion, unfortunately, and
Yeah.
we're not gonna get high enough. But hopefully, we have the luck of the draw. So
I don't even
it,
think it started too late because we should have lost those 4 games that we won. Like Knicks blew a 23-point lead. We played. Who else did we play in there? We played the Lakers. They were supposed to be better. Who else did we beat?
we beat the Bucks without Giannis,
Yeah, we weren't
and
supposed to win that game.
and then we beat Memphis in Memphis.
Yeah, we weren't supposed to win that game. So that's the thing. If we like the tank started before then. The tank started at when the Blazers made that trade with Norman Powell and Rocco going to the Clippers. That's when the tank started.
I think
And
Jaw
it's-
had like 44 points in that game or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, and it's just that 4 game winning streak. It's only 4 games, but it makes a major difference. Like we'd be fifth, we'd be tied for fifth right now in lottery odds instead of in eighth. And shoot, we're probably like a half game away from ninth. I haven't looked at the Tankathon lately, but the Pelicans have been losing. So that 4 game winning streak really kind of put a wrench in things, and now it's like it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard to move up. And let me take a couple. Let me take a dono and a member message. We got. Let me go here. Yeah, Chris Brandlin, $5 dono. He says we land where we land in the draft. That is correct. Good. Yeah. Getting the Pels pick is far more critical than whether our pick ends up 7 or 8 or 9. Appreciate the $5 dono, Chris. I mean, let's get the Pels pick and be 7th instead of the Pels pick and 9th. Because here's the thing. I think 7th in this draft is going to be noticeably better than 9th. I know it seems like only 2 spots, but in the top 10 in the draft, the difference between 2 picks is bigger than 2 picks in the 20s. So I know a lot of Blazer fans are falling in love with Keegan Murray. We can talk more about him later on today, and he's kind of the guy in that 8-9 range right now. And then Matherin as well, and he had a good game today. But I mean, part of it is I want to move up high enough to get AJ Griffin, to have a chance at AJ Griffin, and then the higher you move, the better chance you have of getting into the top 3 in the draft. So I would rather have a 33 whatever percent chance of getting into the top 3 in the draft than a 16% chance. I'd rather have twice the odds, and that's the thing, is a couple losses here or there ends up making the difference. So, it's I understand that some fans, are happy about this. 32% of you voted that you're happy with this win. Cool. I ain't telling anybody how to feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's just me personally,
totally fair.
I want to try and get the roster as good as possible next year. And winning games like this ends up hurting that. You can enjoy things about this win. It was nice to see Watford play well. It was nice to see Josh Hart turn into prime Damian Lillard. I enjoyed that, but in the long run,
So the
this is one of
honeymoon's
those
back
games. What'd you say?
The honeymoon's back on.
This is more like a anniversary celebration that went really, really well. Okay, we only came home for a 1 game, Eric. So it was like a special occasion. Okay, so I mean that's the thing. If he can knock down threes, it's really good.
Well, my point to Chris, thanks for the donation. The Pelicans pick, I mean, it kind of matters what we do, I guess, since if we made the play-in or whatever, I guess, instead of them, that would keep them out of the playoffs. But overall, it pretty much is just going to come down to whether or not they tread water with Ingram and CJ out and still take that 10th spot or not. And that really has no bearing on us. I would say the Spurs are more likely to pass them than we are. So it's pretty much between the 3 of us for that spot. I don't think the Lakers are going to be bad enough to move past all of us, even how bad they've been, because everyone else sucks too. But so yeah, it's like the Pelicans pick is either going to convey or it's not. It doesn't really matter. Like, we won this game. It doesn't mean that we're getting the Pelicans pick, right? So those are two separate things in my mind. Like, yes, the Pelicans pick conveying is super important, and it's going to be devastating if it does not. But also, our pick moving up is important as well, and those things are separate in my mind.
Yep, absolutely. And then shout out to Chris S., member for 14 months, says, so what mysterious injury does Josh Hart get to keep him out the rest of the season? You know what it's gonna be, Eric? It's gonna be a classic. It's gonna be back spasms for the rest of the year.
Yeah. I don't know. Do they might not have enough players to to have another person.
They have to suit up 8 guys, right?
Yeah, that's set of 8, but
and they had 9 or 10 suited up today. Let me look at this. Yeah, because Blevins was their 9th. Blevins didn't play. Blevins is their 10th.
Yeah.
So they could hold them out. They still have 9 players.
Mm-hmm.
Because Blevins just give Blevins the 36 minutes that Josh Hart played today.
I wonder what they're going to do with Eubanks.
Oh yeah, we gotta sort that out too. Maybe cut Mac. Well, probably another 10-day because you can.
Yeah,
right?
I'm just saying is they haven't announced a third 10-day yet.
Well, here's the thing too: is Anthony's supposed to come back? That's the thing. Yeah, and Justice Winslow's supposed to come back. This is gonna be a hard tank job, man. Like, the Blazers have been tanking extremely well recently, but it's going to be a really hard tank job to get to, like, 6th. And I saw some fans being like, oh, worst case scenario is we have the 6th best lottery odds. And it's like, no, that's not the worst case scenario. Maybe this is the best case scenario for some, but like the worst case scenario would be we're in the play-in. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we're in the play-in because CJ McCollum's in health and safety protocols for the Pelicans. Brandon Ingram is out. Who knows when Zion Williamson comes back? Without those 3 guys, that's a worse team than we've been throwing out there. That's a really bad team. And they've been losing games.
Well, if we have Anton.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
I don't think they're worse than us.
Assuming, well... Yeah, if we have... I mean, that's a pretty bad team, though. Who do they got? Herb Jones, Valanciunas? Yeah, maybe it's a little bit better than what we're throwing out.
It's slightly really better than our lineup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, but regardless, we have a super easy schedule. Like, 11 games in a row, we play one of the Spurs, Thunder, Rockets, or Pelicans. And that's a Pelicans team that could be bad. So if we find a way to beat the Pelicans a couple of times, we play them twice more the rest of the year, I mean... I don't think it's impossible that we're still somehow in the play-in. Because right now we're only a half game out of freaking play-in.
CJ will be back by the time we play them, so...
Yeah, but Ant will be back for us.
I'm not so sure about that. They said reevaluated in 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they might hold him out, Eric, but it's like... We played the Wizards today. Out of... those 11 games, the only team that might be better than this Wizards team is the Pelicans. Maybe you could put the Spurs in there, but the Spurs... the Spurs have not been good. They're 26-42 for a reason. They're not a good basketball team. None of those teams are good basketball teams.
Did you see... I don't know. It's like... I don't think the Wizards are that good.
They're not. None of... We have the easiest schedule in the league.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I have to reiterate that.
Spurs are better than this Wizards team currently without Beal and Porzingis. Maybe in the games Porzingis plays, it's a little bit.
Yeah, but if we play like we did tonight, we still beat the Spurs.
Yeah, I don't know. Josh Hart's not going off for 44 against DeJounte Murray, though.
Yeah, but, it could be, I don't know, maybe Macklemore wakes up for once for a game. You know what I mean? It could be a number of different guys. It's not... I'm not saying that we're going to end up in the play-in. I'm not saying we're likely. I'm just saying it's not out of the realm of possibility. Okay?
We've been doing this all year where we win one game and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, look.
But I never said it was out of the realm. Did I ever say it was out of the realm of possibility? There's... And it's not due to us being good. It's due to every other team just being bad. Pelicans are in 10th in the play-in right now at 27-40. Okay? 27-40. They would be 5.5 games out of the play-in the East. So if in the East, 10th place Atlanta Hawks are 32-34. If that was the record of the 10th place team in the West, I would be sitting here saying it's completely out of the realm of possibility. There's no chance we end up in the play-in. Yeah. But given how bad the Pelicans are without the guys that they're missing, and who knows when some of them come back, the Spurs aren't good. The Kings can't win a freaking game. They've lost 8 out of their last 10. Like, it's whoever tanks the worst. And that could be us, given how easy our schedule is. I don't know, man. I don't know.
What's weird is we've had, like, the most blatant, epic tank job the last, 6 games or whatever. And there is a realistic scenario where Ant, Winslow, Nurk, we forgot about Nurk, all come back in the next week or two. And
I don't think Nurk comes back, does he?
No, I'm just saying, like...
Because what was it, 4 weeks for him? And when did that happen? Right out of the All-Star break? So it'd be like mid-March?
All-Star break or something. Yeah, I don't know.
Huh.
But, like...
It's already mid-March, though.
Yeah, I know. I was saying that there's a realistic scenario where we're close enough to the play-in, they just say, screw it and go for it, I guess. I don't know.
But, like, that's the thing, dude. It's like we've tanked so well. So freaking well.
I know, it'll be all for nothing. That's why I don't like winning these games.
It feels like we're still not any better.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, this is why this win sucks in my mind. Like, normally, in a normal tank, you can have wins, like, even the worst teams, the worst team of all time won 9 games or the equivalent of 9 games, right? So, like, there's always teams that are going to win, but, like, all these other teams are sucking just as bad as us, so that's why it sucks. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Yeah, so I don't know how the rest of the season shapes up. It gives me a headache just thinking about predicting the rest of the season, and I've basically said that all season. I don't know with this team, man. Like,
sorry, Eddie.
At this is the mindset I'm in, though, Eric. At this point, like, I'm watching college freaking basketball.
Dude, college basketball's been amazing.
Yeah, I'm watching college basketball for the next 2 weeks, and then I'll still do these post-game shows and rant about the tankathon and rant about a win or something, but my mind's not bought into this because this is just a headache thinking about what could happen. It's a headache to talk about on streams at this point. I'm just trying to have fun and enjoy myself, and hopefully other people find it entertaining if I'm just coming into streams having fun. And my mindset is not to break down anything in regards to this team, not to try and predict anything in regards to this team, not just for the rest of the season, but also for the off season, because I've had questions and it's like I have no idea what's going to happen in the off season. It's dependent on so many things. So at this point, I'm just going to focus on college basketball and enjoy that.
Well, I hope David Hughes, right? He said big picture, this might not matter. Yeah, I hope that's correct.
It might not.
Hopefully we'll look back and say, yeah, it didn't really matter.
But here's the thing, though. We'll be like, oh, these 2 games. If we could just lost 2 more, we could have lost 3.
Well, that's how we were with, like, the standings the last couple of years.
But it's just crazy because, like, losing was so frustrating at the start of the season. Now it's like, oh, dang, I wish we lost more games at the start of the season. It's crazy how that flipped. This year is just completely abnormal to me. So, let me know if you disagree with anything. Let me know in chat. That's what we got a live chat for. I mean, I feel like we're pretty realistic in regards to the state of the team and what we want.
I want to bring up something Jackson said in chat. He says, players improving and getting late game experience isn't the worst thing ever, so that might be a positive.
I mean, it's not completely negative. There is positives in this.
Yeah, you want people to play well, and Watford's looking like a player, but outside of
doing a loss,
we already knew Hart was like going to be a good player for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know Watford has some skill and potential to be a fringe rotation player next year, but outside of that, like, how many of these guys are actually going to be playing or even on the team next year? So you can get experience and all this stuff for these guys now, but that's my problem is we don't have a lot of guys that'll help us next year,
Yeah. Agreed.
If it was like Ant and Winslow and Hart and they were having a really tough time and they just needed to win a game to get some confidence back or whatever, like then might be a little different. Or like Keon, for example. Keon is going to be on the team next year, and he's shown some flashes of being a useful player in the last few games. So that's, but then he didn't really play much in the second half. So like I don't know, it's just
Yeah, and if he can't play much in a game like this, he's not going to be in the rotation next year. It doesn't matter. Like he could average 10, 15 points a game for the rest of the year. I still don't see how he's in the rotation next year, assuming that our 3-guard lineup is Dame, Simons, and Hart, which it should be, right? So I don't know how Keon Johnson slots into that if we're healthy. Like, so cool. Getting him some experience is cool, but I just don't. I still remain with the stance that I don't see it paying off for the next at least couple of years. Yeah. Maybe when he's like 22, because that's the thing, he's still 19, so he still has a ton of time, and there's no reason.
It was his birthday, he just turned 20.
He just turned 20. I'm not sitting here like rushing him like, oh, he's, if he isn't ready for a couple years, then that means he's a bust, or that means he's not developing quickly enough. That's just what I expect. I don't think that's a negative. It's just like, how do we get as good as possible in the next year or two? That's the thought process. In the easiest freaking way is a top 3 pick. I mean, it's so simple at this point. And watching like Banchero, because Banchero's been playing well, just makes me want a top 3 pick even more. Like, I like the way Banchero's been looking, and then you guys know I'm a huge Chet fan, so I would love to have Chet on this team next year. Let's look at the team stats if you want to. We got graphics tonight.
We got a couple of more donations if you want.
All right, you want to read them off?
Sure. Gray Hughes Investigates. Thank you, man. $5 donation says, I really like Watford. He is sort of a Draymond Green light. Very crafty, good passer and cutter. Next year he needs to play a lot.
Yeah, see, like, Watford is interesting to me because you can see a lot of positives, but I don't know how far along he's going to be next year in terms of like helping a team trying to maybe even actually contend. He might be able to play minutes and help a team contend because he does a lot of those little things, like you said, well. It's a little different doing it against a Wizards team like this when you're starting and playing like 30-plus minutes a game compared to playing for small spurts, which is what his minutes would be next year if he's in the rotation, against teams that are legit, because we don't really have many legit teams left on the schedule today, not today. We don't have many legit teams left on the schedule this year for him to test himself against. So I'm kind of curious how, like, he looked phenomenal tonight. I'm curious to see how his sophomore season goes, to see how he builds upon this and just how high he can get in terms of production when we're trying to win games.
Yeah, I look at it this way. I mean, we've talked about this before, but if he's just outside your rotation, but pushing the guys in your rotation to either be better or to possibly, if not, he could take those minutes, or if we have injuries or whatever, that's a huge depth piece to have, and he's still under a great contract, so we don't really have to rely on him. So hopefully, in my mind, he's like a fringe rotation player, maybe pushing like Winslow for the backup power forward or something, that would be okay in my mind. If he's like one of our top 7 players or something after this offseason, then I think we're in a little bit of trouble depth-wise.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against Watford. Like, I really like Watford a lot. I think he's a great player. He does a lot of things that win basketball games, and I like him on the court. I just, like you said, I don't know if it's quite that time to include him in the rotation yet, but I definitely feel comfortable having him on the team and pushing guys in the rotation. And if we have injuries or people need rest or whatever, having him have spot minutes and stuff, I have no problem with that.
I heavily agree with Beavis's take that Watford can play for any contending team. I think there's contending teams who wouldn't be in the rotation for. But the thing is like he's an undrafted rookie who started the season on a two-way contract that we have for cheap under contract for multiple years, and it's not like he spent 4 years in college. He's still 21 years old, and he shows a ton of strengths. Here's what it's going to come down to for Watford. He has to find a position. Okay, that's like the biggest thing that would maybe hold him back from getting minutes next year. Is I think size-wise he's a 4. Okay, I think he's a bit undersized to be the 5. He's been okay at the 5 when we've been tanking and whatnot, but if we're trying to win games, I'm not sure we want him as our backup 5 next year, just because he doesn't necessarily have the size for that. I think he can play the 4, except for the fact that I don't know if you can rely on his 3-point shot yet, or at least going into next year. So,
I mean, he's pretty efficient without a 3 right now, though.
Yeah, but I mean, it comes down to you don't want.
And he's been making his free throws as well.
I mean, but you know what it comes down to, Eric. You don't want both your 4 and your 5 man on the court to not be 3-point shooters. You want one of them to at least be a 3-point shooter.
I've never bought into that as much as you do. So, I mean, it's good to have more shooters, but I don't think it's like detrimental to a team to not have.
If you have 2 complete non-shooters from 3, I think it's detrimental. I think because you're gonna have one of I don't know. It's a nuanced conversation, but especially when you probably are gonna have Nasir Little off the bench as well, I think you'd need a shooting 5 next to him.
Yeah, I mean, once again, it depends how Nas progresses with his 3-point shot as well.
Yeah, I mean...
But, see, my thing is... Because I said the same thing about Ben Simmons, right? Like, if you have Nurk, Watford, guys like that, Winslow, I'll include in this, they know how to dribble, can put the ball on the floor, they can pass. So, yes, it would be helpful if those guys could shoot, they'd be, like, all-stars, but, like... You can still do stuff with them because they are so skilled passing and stuff like that. So I'm not really worried about the 3-point shooting because we do have especially with our starting lineup and then depending on who we drafted because there's several shooters in our range. Like I don't know, I wouldn't be as worried about it.
I'm not saying you can't do things.
I know you're not saying it.
They have ball skills. I'm just talking about them in an off-ball role.
Yeah, but that's when we need cutters and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it's like if you have Watford and say I don't know who the backup 5. Say it's like a Cody Zeller in the game, right? And then Nasir Little's cut into the middle of the paint. They're going whoever's guarding. Where's Watford and Zeller going to be if Nasir Little's cut into the middle of the paint? Like, are they going to be spacing the floor? Are they going to be on the inside? If they're both kind of around the rim, there's so much defense there that cut isn't going to be as effective as if there was more space. So it just comes down to, I think you want one of those guys to be a shooter for that reason, because it opens things up more for cuts. It opens things up more on the dribble drive. It makes the defense have to rotate out further compared to guys that don't really get punished for sagging off and helping onto drives, helping onto cuts and that sort of thing. So that's where I lie on it. I like their ball skills, and I like Watford's ball skills. I think he has all the ball skills to be a power forward. I just think that's the number one thing, and I think he's going to work on it. So I could see him coming into next year being a solid 3-point shooter because he has good form. I could see that happening. I have to see it. And I think that's what it comes down to for him if he's going to play a lot next year or not. Can he knock down threes? Because everything else he has.
Well, Nurk can't really do it, but I mean. We've seen players run out on Winslow. So,
that's just stupid.
Like, if that continues, though, that kind of erases some of that. But, yeah, I agree that it's dumb, but it was happening. You saw it.
See, how much of that do you think is, like, a lack of scouting on us because teams took us slightly, and how much of that, like...
Oh, man. Like, I don't know, because I just think it's to the point now where... Most people, unless your coach is saying don't, like we had a game against the Clippers this year where we didn't even try closing out on Eric Bledsoe, and he kept shooting threes, and that it was obviously the game plan to live with him shooting threes in those. But overall, like in the general like game to game landscape of a regular season, I just think like. You're taught to close out on those, and it's just players aren't really as skilled closing out to the ball. as maybe they were in the past either. So that they just tend to fly out no matter who it is, I think. But yeah.
Yeah. And here's the thing: like if Watford's the backup 4 next year, I would want a shooting 5 next to him because I'd want to post up Watford here and there. Because if guys cut off his post ups, he'll make the right pass. Mm-hmm. And he had his final bucket, I think, of the game was an impressive post up play. And
he even did the hand thing.
Yeah, like that dude can post up. So
CJ did that to Austin Rivers the other day too.
Did he? That's funny, man.
Austin Rivers slapped his hand away.
Yeah, I saw
and
that.
then CJ went right back and did it again.
Yeah, that's funny. But like that's the thing is if you're gonna play Watford the 4 next year, even if he can shoot, it's always good to you can never have enough shooting because if you have a 5 off the bench that can shoot and he can space the floor, it makes Watford posts up more deadly. Because if you have a 5 that can't shoot and Watford's posting up, whoever's guarding that center can provide easier help on a Watford post up and clog things up a little bit more and maybe take away, one of the directions Watford might want to go for the ball. He had that running push shot to the middle of the key. If the big's on the other side of the floor, his defender can push towards the middle and contest that or clog that up. But if that big man is sitting in the corner and he can shoot threes, then all of a sudden, if that big helps, Watford just kicks it out, wide open 3, solid shooter. Mm-hmm. Then it's a pick your poison sort of scenario. So you can never have enough shooting. Sure. I would like to get a 3-and-D5 off the bench, and then I think that would be the best big man to pair next to Watford. A rim protecting 3-and-D5. Those are hard to get though. That's the problem.
So DJ Vega brings up the Warriors, who start Draymond and Looney, and then they have Iguodala, stuff like that off the bench who can't shoot. Well, who was during their championship run? Who was their backup center?
They had Maurice Spates for a minute, and
they did for a while. Yeah. Is that on their championship teams? Maybe.
I think he won a championship. They had McGee for a year. Here's the thing, though: the Warriors' system is
Zaza.
Yeah, Zaza. I mean, their system, though, is freaking phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it's like Steph moves off the ball
but I'm saying
so
that's
well
what we wanted to develop.
Oh, I know. I just don't ever think that we're going to have an offense like that. You know what I mean? Like, we can have parts of an offense like that. Like Golden State does the best, and I don't think any team has the capability of doing it as well as they run their offense.
Oh, yeah. Bogut was out there in the earlier years, and that Festus.
Yeah, Bogut was the starter.
Festus. But
see, during those years, Draymond could shoot threes.
I mean, he had one good year, I think, shooting the 3.
But he was like 30s-ish, right?
But I mean, like, I don't know. Nurk or Watford, one of those guys could probably shoot 30% from 3.
Well, I thought Draymond was above 30% for multiple years, though.
I'm sure he was slightly above 30%. I think he had one year where it was like 36 or something, if off the top of my head.
Yeah, he had a year he had shot 39.
Oh, 39.
That was his 4th year. Yeah. That was the first year he was an all-star. He shot 49% from the field, 39% from 3.
Was that 14-15?
That was 15-16.
Oh, okay.
The 2 years before that, he shot 33 and 34%. Then he went down, after the 39% season, he went down to 31%, then down to 30%, and then he's been below 30% since then. So the dude forgot how to shoot. Maybe he needs to stop shooting like he has a freaking backpack on. But there's the thing, though, is like, if you don't go out and guard them, they can drive the lane. Like, Draymond can drive the lane and he's a threat to score, and then if you send any sort of help, he'll make the right pass like every single time, which maybe that's Watford's MO going forward. But that's the thing, is like the Warriors system is such an outlier because they set so many screens for Steph that even if you're guarding Kevon Looney, you don't want to be sagged into the paint because he's setting so many screens for Steph that you have to help with that. Like, if you're sagging into the paint, Steph's just going to come off screens and hit threes. So there is a way to kind of mitigate having 2 non-shooters on the floor at the 4 and 5. It's just, it makes things a lot tougher, and I don't count on us playing like the Golden State Warriors.
I think that's where the PTSD from Stotts comes in. It's like, we can't do that or whatever, but like we actually could if we tried, which would be cool. Like, maybe not as good, but like,
yeah, that's the thing.
we're gonna have shooters like they have. We're gonna have Dame and Ant, which is pretty
Yeah,
comparable to the shooting they had on the floor.
dude, I would take running it half as well as they
Right.
do. You know what I mean? Like, but that's the thing. If you only run it half as well, then you're gonna need more spacing out there because you're going to have to rely on just basic pick and roll and Dame creating things. Like, I don't know why they can't run it as well as Golden State. I don't know. It's just no other team has really done that, and Golden State's offense has proven to be pretty much the most unguardable offense, and it's hard to game plan for it in the playoffs. You know, Steve Kerr I think is underrated as a coach because of how their offense runs, and a lot of it's out of freelance situations too.
Yep, got to be smart in those situations and have high IQ. But yeah, I mean, Nurk is the only person that I wouldn't feel comfortable getting the ball and then putting it on the floor, like from a 3-point shooting position and then dribbling. Watford and Winslow I both would. So if we get a 5, he either has to be a shooter like you said, or he's got to be good enough to put the ball on the floor in those situations, and then we'd only have Nurk as the only one who wouldn't be able to really do that.
Yeah. Yeah,
but ideally, I mean, you want shooters
it's just
in
like
every
when it comes to a fringe rotation player, you know, like that's the thing is Draymond. You know, we're trended next year we project as a fringe rotation player, and it's a situation where like if he can't shoot and space the floor, they might just elect to bring somebody else in.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what they plan for trended next year.
And I don't know if because Gray Hughes is saying that people are not giving. Or Watford's better than a lot of people think. I don't know if he's directed that at us. I love Trenton Watford.
I was saying let's pick up Watford before the draft. So.
We love that pickup as a two-way. I've been talking all year about how we should sign him to an actual contract, the Lou Dort contract. I was so happy when we did that. Yeah, so like this has nothing to do with him or not believing in him. I do believe in him. I do think he's going to be a good player. I'm strictly talking about on a championship roster in his sophomore season. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to be a championship contender next year, but ideally, if we're going to maximize the team this next year, I don't know how much Watford is going to be playing like 20, 25 minutes or whatever on that team. It could surprise us and be that way. And if he does, even if we make like a good draft pick or we have a good free agent signing at the power forward position, and Watford beats them out for minutes or whatever. It's a good problem to have because the more good players we have, the more assets we have in trades, and the deeper we are as a team. And Watford he's shown he can kind of play backup center a little bit. It's not ideal, but he has the versatility to play 2 positions. So as long as we don't have too many players that can only play 1 position, I think we're fine. But yeah, like, I don't know. Ideally, I just want as many good players as possible. And if we're talking about Watford being our 6th or 7th best player next year, I mean, yes, he's probably good enough to be that eventually. I just don't know if that's
not right now.
The greatest course of action for us. I don't think we'd have a good offseason if we're sitting here saying Trenton's our 7th best player, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you should aim to try and make the roster as good as possible, so you should aim to go and get somebody better than Trenton. Like, not a knock on Trenton, it's just you got to try and make the roster as good as possible. So I'd rather have, because that's the thing, injuries are going to strike every year. He's going to play next year. I would just rather have him in like a spot minutes / in case somebody's hurt role than, we're going to have to rely on him to be our second player off the bench, because, like, there's every year, I mean, you go across the league and look at like tanking teams, and it's like Aaron Wiggins for OKC recently had a 25-point game. Aaron Wiggins. I bet there's some people in this chat that don't know that there's another A. Wiggins in the league. But there's guys all across the league that, I mean, Brandon Williams recently had a 27-point game. You know what I mean? The thing is, they don't bring the intangibles that Trenton Watford does, but that I'm not going to get too high on him until he proves it in a more demanding situation than this, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. And it's not a knock on him. I always try and keep my expectations more tempered with role players, where I feel like this fan base can kind of go slightly over the. And it's not everybody. There's just, and I think this is the case with every fan base. So it's not just this fan base, but people will go kind of over the top with some role players. I mean, we're not as bad as the Los Angeles Lakers with Talen Horton-Tucker. Obviously, thinking we could trade him for a superstar, but like I saw multiple people legitimately talk about, yeah, Dennis Smith should be our backup point guard next year and play 15 minutes a game at least next season. I saw that like a month ago from multiple people. And it's like, no, he's not going to be our backup point guard next year. I doubt he's even back next year, and we shouldn't go into next year planning on Dennis Smith Jr. being in the rotation. And now, it's because of injury, but he's not even on the team. So I try not to get a little bit too ahead of myself. I freaking love it when guys like Trenton Watford play well, because we've never had a two-way contract, and I've ranted about that so many times, Eric. O'Shea couldn't pick up two-way contract guys or unheralded guys and turn them into like actual contributors, right? It's like Tim Quarterman and
outside of Coach and Blood.
Well, yeah, that's the outlier, obviously, but that's the same cousin, so it's a unique situation. But it's guys like that, C.J. Wilcox, Cliff Alexander back in the day. You know what I mean? Like, we never. You look at the Heat where they have like Max Strus has been killing it all year, and he was an unheralded guy. You look like John Concar on the Grizzlies. Like, we've never been a team to get undrafted players and turn them into role players that actually help us win basketball games. So I've ranted about that. So I freaking love that we finally have done that, because I fully believe that we've done that. With Trenton Watford, it's just, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself and say, oh yeah, he should be our 7th player next year, or when we're trying to potentially go back to trying to contend.
Yeah. I look at it this way. Once again, if Watford comes into camp next year, is good enough to earn the minutes in Chauncey Billups' eyes, I trust Billups in that situation, and then I would trust Trenton in that situation. But I don't want to go into the team next year like expecting or needing Watford to take a jump and play really good for us to be good, right?
Yeah.
So I want him to be good because he outplayed multiple people and earned that spot, and it just got that much better. And then it's fine. And I do think there's a chance that happens. But I also, like I said, want us to get more pieces around us so he still has time to be, on a somewhat realistic developmental pace instead of just like, oh, next year he's going to be just like Draymond Green. That's kind of unrealistic in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, we played the Wizards tonight without Porzingis or Beal. Okay, he hasn't yet proven things against good NBA teams.
I mean, they have some decent bigs still.
Who?
I mean, not great, but
Who?
I mean, he played against Rui a lot tonight. He played.
I mean, I love Rui, but he's still not what he can be defensively. He has potential on that end, and he's okay, but.
We had Thomas Bryant, Gafford played a little bit. I mean, it's not
like that's the thing. When you play a team like this Wizards team, they're missing guys. Like, they're not playing 100%.
Right, yeah. And they played last night, too.
You know what I mean? So, like, this is the first step. If he's playing bad against teams like this, then, obviously we're not excited about him. Obviously we're excited about him. But in order to be in the rotation on a team trying to, like, make a run in the playoffs, like, you got to prove yourself more than he's proven himself. Okay? And I'm not saying he can't prove himself, because he'll have an opportunity. He could prove himself next year. That's the thing. If he starts off in training camp and he's knocking down threes, and he's playing better than who we plan to be our backup power forward or center, and that maybe he starts off the season in the rotation, and that we're playing some good teams and he's playing well, and he keeps that spot, and all of a sudden, okay, he's a contributor and he's in the rotation, and I'm cool with that, because he's proven himself more. He's proven himself enough to deserve a contract, and we got him on a bargain. Okay, but he still has a little bit more to do in terms of proving himself. And I think he's up for the challenge. I think his attitude is like, yeah, I'm going to prove myself. He has that chip on his shoulder. So I'm fully confident that at some point he will totally prove himself to be that type of player. I don't know if that's going to be the start of next season.
Well, I don't know. To me, I don't think watching him play, he's just like stat stuffing against bad teams.
He's
I mean,
not. He's not. But
he's got a lot of skills that could be useful to a team in terms of winning. So yeah,
yeah, but it's like, like he catches the ball kind of on the perimeter and then drives and makes a spin move and scores inside. But if you play against like contending level teams that are playing hard, they have wings that are stunting in at the ball like fast, like quick. And it's a lot harder to just kind of drive against one player from the perimeter when you have these guys out here that are just digging in at the ball super hard and whatnot. That's the difference. The Wizards, they're not doing that. They're a terrible team right now that is staring the lottery in the face, and didn't really have a good defensive lineup out there, so they're not going to be doing that type of thing. So like he can have a heyday scoring off that because he has the skills. It's just like, can he handle putting the ball on the floor and then having a Mikal Bridges jumping at the ball. You know what I mean? Like those sort of things. Can he make the right play there? The right play might be to stop his drive and try and kick out, but that's the thing. Elite defenders like that will stun at the ball and then try and deflect the kick out pass. Like there's a bunch of different things in situations that he hasn't fully proven himself in that he will be put in against better defenses, playing against better teams. So that's what I'm waiting to see before I anoint him as a guy that should be in the rotation next year.
yeah. Thing I like most, since you have his stat thing, his player card.
I just figured we'd put his player card up.
Yeah. I love that he has zero turnovers tonight. That's
3 assists. 3 assists.
for how much he had the ball in his hands and how much he puts on the floor to not have any turnovers.
Yeah.
I believe I'm gonna look up his game log. I want to see.
If this is the first time you've ever watched the channel, our normal player cards look like this, right? But we challenged our graphics guy to add something to this slide every single stream. And this is the result at this point. We still got 16 games to go. We got Dunkin' Donuts added tonight.
So going back, last game, 29 minutes, 0 turnovers. The game before that, 29 minutes, 2 turnovers. 32 minutes the game before that, 0 turnovers. 30 minutes, 0 turnovers before that. 20 minutes, 0 turnovers before that. 22 minutes, 1 turnover. 14 minutes, 0 turnovers. So that's going back, 6, 7 games? Where he's only had 3 turnovers now. Including tonight, that's 8 games, 3 turnovers. That's the kind of stuff I'd love to see out of a rookie. And that bodes well, I think, for him progressing into being a capable player.
Yeah, I'm curious how many. I'm gonna look this up. Against Phoenix, yeah, he didn't turn over the ball against Phoenix, and that's the best defensive team we've played recently. They didn't have Booker.
He played
Paul,
30 minutes.
Yeah, so that's the thing. He's taking care of the ball. Yeah, like he's a smart player. He's a heady player. There's just certain situations that you have to be able to trust him in to have him in the rotation if you're trying to win games at a high level. That he might prove himself in next year. It's just he hasn't yet done it, so I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, we should just automatically make him the 6th or 7th guy in our rotation.
Well, the other thing is, a best case scenario is we're talking about him as like in our bench rotation, right? So, he's not necessarily going to be playing against all those starter guys you mentioned either.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like benches for contending teams usually play really good defense. Usually still play really good defense. Like with the Warriors, Prime Warriors, you had Iguodala off the bench. Yeah. And I mean, now this you got like Gary Payton II off the bench, and you got Otto Porter Jr. off the bench. He's a solid defensive player. I'm kind of blanking on rotations because I've been checked out from the NBA. But for the most part, like the thing is it matters. Like, can we beat contending teams next year? Right, and we have a long ways to go. Like, we have a lot of roster moves to make to even have a chance at doing that. So I'm not trying to make it sound like, oh yeah, this is something that's going to be easy to do in general. But that's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to. Anyway, this is a stat line though. 27 points, career high. 6 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 11 for 16 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. One of those was a desperation heave at the shot clock buzzer. Like that he made all 5 of his free throws. He's shooting the free throw better than he did to start the season in 38 minutes tonight.
There was a possession, not our last possession, but I think the possession before that, where Brandon Williams took like a 15-foot baseline jumper, and Watford was on the other side, just like calling for the ball at the 3-point line because he wanted to shoot a three to get 30. It was so obvious.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
Brandon
funny.
Williams, I was not pleased with some of the things he did in the final couple minutes. Go and help your guy Josh Hart get 50, okay? As the point guard, feed the hot hand, all right? But nah, I was frustrated with Josh Hart not being able to get 50 and Trenton not being able to get 30. That was the most frustrating thing about this game, other than the fact that we won it and we're trying to tick. Let's look at the team stats, though, first, before we actually look at the player cards. I just figured we'd look at Trenton since we were talking so much about him. The Blazers shoot the ball really, really well. Almost a 50-40-90 night. 52% from the field, 37% from three, 91% from the free throw line. They knocked down their free throws. So did the Wizards. They were 26 for 27, 96%. So, Bill Schonely announced that he's retiring after this year, and both teams decide to honor him by shooting a combined 46 for 49 from the charity stripe.
Got to make your free throws.
Got to make your free throws. 21 assists for the Blazers on 48 field goals made. I figured the assist number would be a little bit higher than that. That's actually quite surprising. Steals, we had 10. Forced 4 more turnovers than they did for us. Got out on the break, too, Eric. Look at that differential in the fast break points. 28 for us and 8 for the Wizards.
There's a rarity.
Normally it'd be the other way around.
Yeah.
And then points in the paint. 70 points in the paint.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Insane.
It's weird seeing Washington shooting percentages but us, like, we're never. I mean, Washington had it cut to 7 at one point, and they had the ball. Rui had a spin move in the post and missed the lay-in.
Mm-hmm.
It would have cut it to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, it never really felt like we were in danger of losing this game in the second half.
Yeah. So those are the team stats. Let's go to the player cards. We looked at.
I know you missed the beginning of the game. Did you see the Wizards were up 11-4, and it looked like this was.
Really?
Yeah, it looked like
I
it was
saw
gonna
the
be really
score
bad.
and it was like, okay, this is good. This is how it's supposed to go. And then I was at my mom's, so I watched the end of the Virginia Tech Duke game. I got in the car and turned on the radio, and I hear Travis Demers say the Blazers have their largest lead at 17. It's like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah,
I was shocked. I almost crashed.
Josh Hart hit like 5 threes in a row.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Including that one, man, that was sick. Speaking of Josh Hart, though, no nickname yet. Josh Hart. He's the Tank Destroyer. He's easily the Tank Destroyer.
today, at least. The last few
today.
games, he's like,
I mean, the last game he was like a minus 51. So, 44 points for Josh Hart, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals. So filled up the stat sheet along with his 44 points, 15 for 21 from the field, 6 for 9 from 3, 8 for 8 from the free throw line. Just crazy efficiency.
You didn't like my nickname for him, Tori?
What was your nickname for him?
Because it was a bad pun.
What was your nickname for him? Did you want to say it?
Sure. My nickname for him is Cupid because he's shooting arrows through everyone's heart. And from the 3-point line.
I'm so
I knew that would disgust you.
Dude, I want to cry tears of sorrow right now. That's terrible. I tweeted out his nickname is Javelin because Javelin are those weapons that destroy tanks. All right, I like that one a little better. Okay, Josh Hart puns aren't the way to go. They're cringy every time. I saw a tweet that was.
It could be like Fortnite, like arrows where they have explosives on the end. And
Did you really just bring up Fortnite
Yep.
to Eric? What is wrong with you? Are you okay?
He could be blowing up the tank with his Cupid.
Is this
arrows.
like one of those things, like, let your followers know that you're in trouble without letting them know you're in trouble, and this is like code for something's wrong? Like, are you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
You didn't say that confidently, so I don't think you're good. Somebody go help Eric. Your mom's in here. Eric needs help, okay? Eric needs some serious help. Anyway.
All right, squad up, hardcore Blazer fan. Let's go.
Talk about Josh Hart instead, please.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal game. He was really good. Yeah.
Okay, that's the Eric I know.
Reese knows it's not a joke.
Are you really gonna make me move off his player card this quickly?
No,
like,
man.
Are you gonna have
he was fantastic. Best game of his career.
Good for him, man. Going to be good as our third guard off the bench to start our starting small forward next year. That's what he needs to be. Hopefully you don't have a cringy nickname for who we have up next. It's Dualicious Eubanks. Hey, that's better. I kind of like that. Dualicious. We're just going to make plays off of how the Phoenix Suns Stadium spelled his name without the R and put a Keljin Blevins picture. I like Dualicious. That's a good nickname, Krish. Eric should hit you up for a Josh Hart nickname.
I like Mountain Dew Banks.
Mountain Dew Banks? Yeah, that's a pun that, I mean, I don't know if that qualifies fully as a pun, but that's something that works, all right?
Wait, if you're going to use a Dew nickname, though, you got to put Keljin Blevins' picture, don't you?
I mean, at this point,
that's what it was.
No, yeah. I mean, for that game, yeah. But you gotta show Drew Eubanks, give him some love. He got the beard with no mustache. 20 points he got tonight as well. 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 9 for 14 from the field. As well. Yeah, look at the where did he play in high school? Reynolds.
Something like that. Yeah.
Reynolds High School product. I might have played against him actually, because didn't he go through a growth spurt? Wasn't he like? I heard like he was like wasn't that tall his sophomore year, junior year.
I thought he was. I think you're thinking of someone else maybe.
I don't know. But
I just think yeah.
Portland product putting up numbers today. Good for him. Could sign another 10-day contract. I'm expecting that, and then we'll see if we like cut Macklemore so we can bring him back. I mean, he's been playing well. I think he should be the third string center next year. Do you agree?
I mean, I wouldn't mind that. I also don't really care if it's someone else either.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know. He's been solid. Not. I don't like his defense. I don't really think he's a good defensive player, but he finishes. He plays smart offensively. Rebounds, just solid third stringer in my opinion. Good game for him though. I mean, he's having the time of his life, probably playing for his hometown team, and he's getting to start basketball games and play 39 minutes. So good for him.
Looked like he was going to help us be the tank commander tonight. He had those 2 turnovers in a row, or 1 turnover, and then he threw up some weird shot off the bottom of the rim, and then I was like, "Yeah, go Dewbanks," and then yeah. Outside of that, he was great.
Yeah, good for Dualicious Dewbanks. All right, CJ Eligote, offensive rebound magnet, 10 points. 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 4 for 9 from the field, 1 for 3 from 3. He hit a 3. Congratulations. Round of applause for Eligote. 1 for 1 from the free throw line, 2 turnovers, 4 personal fouls, played 37 minutes, was a plus 12. Eric.
I mean, he hustles. He's still hustling. Yeah. I mean, if he could ever figure out how to shoot a little better from inside the arc or 3-point line.
I feel like I'm having like deja vu times 10.
Same thing we always say.
That's exactly what I say. That's what we always say with Mr. CJ Libby. Got 3 offensive rebounds, though. Good for him. Yeah, let's move on to Brandon Williams. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, 4 for freaking 15 from the field, 1 for 5 from 3. I mean, he got his shots up in his 40 minutes. Why did he play 40 minutes? I don't know, but not a good game from him.
We don't have another point guard.
I mean, play freaking Eubanks at point. Play Blevins. Who cares, man?
Eubanks shot a 3. I was happy. I wanted him to shoot like 10 threes in the second half, but
I want to see point Eubanks.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see, but, like, we don't have to play him 40 minutes a game because we don't have another point guard. We don't need another point guard. We can play 5 center. Well, we only have like 1.5 centers, but, play 5 bigs or 5 forwards. I don't care.
Yeah.
He was bad tonight, though, unfortunately. Right?
Yeah, I mean, outside of the shooting, he was okay, but yeah, didn't shoot well tonight.
That's going to happen with a guy, a scorer. The best have games like this where they miss shots, so we'll chalk it up to that. Mic'd up Greg Brown. I must have missed all the mic'd up parts. Was there any gems?
No, it's just he was being super positive, and
it's cool that they're doing that.
How did you miss it? It was like half their broadcast.
because I had the audio, like, I was going back and forth between that and college basketball. For a portion, I had that on with college basketball, and I wasn't, like, really paying attention to the audio. Okay. So I passively watched the game, Eric. You were trying to call me out, man.
I mean, normally you just say that, like you're...
Well, maybe I wanted... What does this text say? Hold on. What does this text say?
Dunks illegally. He had another dunk where he goaltended, or
that's a shame.
It didn't count. Yeah.
Anyway, 9 points, 3 rebounds. He had a 3 in both his free throws. His free throw is not a travesty anymore.
Yeah.
So good for him.
I'll say the same thing when we get to Keon and stuff. I don't understand why he's... I mean, I know foul trouble for him tonight, but why isn't he playing like 30, 35 minutes instead of some of the other guys? Like, why aren't we getting him? Like, he's actually under contract next year. Why aren't we showing him out? I don't know.
Yeah. Free Greg Brown, man. 17 minutes. Yeah. 9 points in 17 minutes is per 36 is like 20. He should have played 36 minutes, man.
He wouldn't have fouled. He wouldn't have because he fouled out. But...
Oh, yeah, five personal fouls. Okay, yeah. Like 5 personal fouls.
10
yeah,
fouls
never mind. Just disregard anything I've said the last 15 seconds. Yeah, I mean, he's looking more comfortable, which is good to see. I don't know what type of player he's supposed to be offensively long term. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, he's an athletic guy who will dunk, get out and run and whatnot, but beyond that, I don't know what he is yet.
Yeah, another weird fit, maybe long term with Dame Ant backcourt. I always refer to Charlotte when I talk about these kind of players, but like if he had a LaMelo Ball type point guard, like maybe I could see him being a lot more part of a team. But yeah, he might struggle to fit in at times. But I mean, he's still young and raw, and he's improved a lot this year, so hopefully he can keep doing that.
Yep, I agree. Let's move on to Keon. 6 points, 2 assists, 1 board, 1 steal, 2 for 5 from the field, 2 for 3 from 3. So he's had a couple of good shooting games recently. You'll love to see it. You said you wanted to save something for him, so I'll let you talk about whatever that is.
No, I said this. I'll say the same thing I said about...
Oh, I thought you said I'll save the same... Yeah,
why is Keon playing 15 minutes?
Yes.
He wasn't in foul trouble. Why is he not playing like 30?
See,
35?
that's the thing where it's like, oh, Brandon Williams is our only point. Play Keon at point guard. Screw it. I mean, just give him the task of like trying to play make, even though he doesn't have the capability yet. Just like give him that responsibility because it might help him grow a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
And it'll get him more minutes.
I think it was Dro that pointed out the one time. Oh no, it was Aeromancer. We played Keon at point, one possession, got aggressively doubled and almost turned it over. So I think that's probably what it was.
Yeah, learn from it. Do it again. Like, I don't know. It's good for development, right? That's the goal right now. Is like we don't really care about winning games. We're trying to develop players.
So Keon comes in, he hits 2 confident threes, looked really good, and then he had a nice pick and roll. I think it was with Watford where he drew 2 defenders, dumped it between them to Watford in the lane for a bucket. So that was 3 really good plays, and I was like, yeah, Keon, like this is looking really nice. Like he was looking like a really capable player, and then unfortunately just didn't play much the rest of the game. I don't know what happened, but for a stretch there, I was actually seeing some flashes of him being a capable player.
Yeah. I accidentally moved it on to Mac LeBrick, but I mean...
That's fine.
We're here now. Here now. Mac LeBrick is a walking brick. He's 0 for 7 from the field tonight, 0 for 5 from 3, and also only 1 for 2 from the free throw line.
Like, why is he even playing? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
he played more minutes than Keon.
Give all his minutes to Keon right now. I don't understand. Yeah.
That's the thing, is Keon played better. You know what I mean? Like, it would... I don't know. Are we playing him to help the tank? Like, I don't understand the logic here.
Yeah. I don't either.
I think he gets cut for Drew Eubanks though, when we can't give Drew Eubanks any more 10 days. So
But
wish you got the waving emojis in there. Wish him well. It's just he has really fallen off a cliff in terms of shooting the ball. And the thing is, the only thing he can really do is shoot the ball. So if he's not making shots, I don't know how he's an NBA player. Could be a guy that goes to the G League for a little bit, has a little Nick Stauskas-esque 100 points in 2 games, and then comes back to the NBA. I could see that happening. But it's not happening for him right now. He's struggling.
Yep.
That's it for the player cards. Cool. I don't have around the NBA ready yet or anything. I don't know. What do you want to talk about, Eric?
I mean, we pretty much exhausted this game. I think. What does
Yeah,
chat
we're talking
want to
about
talk
for an
about?
hour,
You want to talk about some of the performances from some college players today, or what?
Yeah. So Selection Sunday is tomorrow. That's when they announce the bracket. If you want to be in our $20 bracket pool, send me a DM on Twitter, message me on Discord, or send me an email, blazersuprise@gmail.com. Okay? $20 buy-in for our bracket pool. Gonna try and do payments for first, second, and third. Eric, are you gonna be in that?
Sure.
Cool. We're gonna have some homies in there. It should be fun. I just enjoy it because it makes March Madness fun. You end up rooting for teams that you pick. You end up rooting for your upset picks. Last year I picked Oral Roberts as a 15 seed to win, so when they won, it was just a lot of fun. A lot of fun to see them go on that run. And this year, I mean, honestly, I don't trust a lot of the top seeds this year, Eric. I don't know why. I don't like a lot of the teams at the top.
Well, I mean, you saw in these conference tournaments that there's a lot of scary teams that could upset higher seeds.
The thing is, it's like Texas A&M. It was funny because so I do bracketology, which is trying to predict what the bracket would be like that given day. You know, like if the tournament started that day. And my bracketology was really high in Texas A&M. And I'm in this community. It's bracketmatrix.com. There's like 130 other bracketologists that do their own bracketology. None of them had Texas A&M in the field as of like a week ago. In mine, like, I have a rating system. Like, the math sorts the teams based on a lot of the metrics that the selection committee uses. And my ratings had them, like, very borderline. And given the fact that not 1 in 130 other people had them in the tournament, I was like, oh, maybe that's something where I looked at, like, maybe I need to tweak my ratings a little bit. For some reason, they seem to be overrated. And then they go on this run. They're in the SEC championship. They just blew out Arkansas, which is going to be like a 4 or 5 seed, by 18. They beat, who's the team they beat before that?
Auburn.
I'm blanking on? Oh, yeah, they beat Auburn. Auburn, who's going to be a 2 seed, most likely. One of the top teams in the country. They beat them. Now they're playing the SEC championship, and it's like, maybe I was right. Virginia Tech was another team that my rating system was higher on, and they just won the ACC championship. So I'm having confidence in my rating system right now.
Both of those teams, Virginia Tech and Texas A&M, went on. They had like a very, very bad stretch of the season. I think I don't know if it's just the SEC or if this was all Power 5 conferences, but Texas A&M was the first team to start off like 2-9 or something like that and finish above 500 in their conference. And that team, I watched all the Auburn game. I watched all the game this morning against Arkansas. That team is going to really upset a higher seed when they see them on their side of the bracket, because they're going to be like a 9-10 seed or something, maybe.
Honestly, they could be in if they lose, I still think there's a chance they're in the first 4. Like,
yeah.
I mean,
well, then they'd be 11 seed, right? So
yeah, 11 or 12, yeah.
If you're a top seed, you do not want them on your side of the
absolutely.
bracket. Yeah.
Because that's the thing is, like, it's teams that are hot this time of the year, which are the teams usually I like to roll with when I fill out my bracket. It's teams that are playing well going into the tournament. It goes back to like Kemba Walker's run where UConn won the championship as that 3 seed. You remember where he just went on that tear and had that buzzer beater cardiac Kemba and led UConn to the I think they were still in the Big East back then. I forget. Maybe it was, yeah, I think it was the Big East, still in the Big East. There's been a lot of conference realignment, but they went on this run and won their conference tournament. So I liked them going into the tourney as a 3 seed. I had them in the championship. They ended up winning it all. So since then, it's like, it's part that and then just kind of gut feeling based on years of kind of like following March Madness. That's how I fill out my brackets. But like Texas A&M is hot and just they beat Auburn and then they dominated Arkansas. So that's absolutely a team I do not want to see. I don't want them to be an 8 or a 9 seed on Gonzaga's portion of the bracket.
Yeah,
I don't want them, and I don't want Creighton as an 8 or a 9 seed in Gonzaga's pod. Because Creighton, they lost to Villanova today, but they just blew out Providence, which is probably going to be a 4 seed, and they almost beat Villanova. They almost beat Villanova with a pretty pro-Villanova home crowd there in Madison Garden. Villanova's in Pennsylvania, a lot closer to New York City than Creighton, which is in Nebraska, I think. So Creighton's a scary team as well. Virginia Tech's playing really well. That Hunter Couture guy, man. It's always crazy this time of year. Is like there will be random players that you don't know much about. Like there's 5 potential first-round picks on Duke, and this Hunter Couture guy drops 30 and outplays all of them. So that's always fun. But
I love the way Virginia Tech's bigs play off each other too.
Yeah.
Mutz and what's the other guy's name? I forget his name, but they're both very skilled.
I hadn't watched enough of them. You probably have watched more of them than I have. Just because they didn't really have anybody that like I wanted to scout. You know what I mean? But I've been dropping.
So
go ahead. I'll let go.
Oh no, just keep going but we missed a few donos. So.
Oh, did we? Let me thank them first, okay? And then I'll jump into this. All right. Shout out to who did we miss? I don't know if I have them. So you read them.
Well, all I can see is Shaggy Squid because
that was the only other one I thought.
Okay. He said,
sorry, Shaggy Squid. I did not mean to miss that.
I thought there was one other one too that we missed.
That was the only one because we think it was Gray Hughes and then that one.
No, there was one from Liam Best that was Australian, $2 one. So if you could repeat what you said,
Liam, if you're still in here, send it to us. Apologies. Yeah, we got caught up in the Trenton talk.
Anyways, he's Shaggy Squid. Thank you for the donation. Says Hart and Watford 36 and 38 minutes, while Keon and Hughes combined for 17. Pisses me off, especially since Hart and Watford won this game. Yeah, completely agree. We should be playing the young guys, and I know Chauncey said that we have a lot of guys who are playing for their NBA careers and he wants to let them showcase themselves, but we also need to worry about the people who are on the team next year. I think giving those guys minutes should be the priority.
Yep, 100% agree. Thank you, Shaggy Squid, for the $5 dono. Sorry for taking so long to read that off. And then Liam, if you can resend that because it's not showing up for me. My YouTube streaming page glitched out and isn't showing it. Yeah, that was you. Okay, let me know what your message was and I'll read it off for you. And then I'll talk about what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. Because Selection Sunday is tomorrow. I'm planning on live streaming during Selection Sunday, during the unveiling of the bracket. I'll stream on Blazers Uprise Live. That's why I initially made the second channel, was so we could do like random streams over there. And now it's just become like only Mondays, Thursdays. And we never do anything random except for our fantasy football drafts. So Selection Sunday tomorrow, I will be streaming during that and reacting to that. You can join me if you want, Eric.
Yeah, what time is that?
Noon, I think. Maybe 1. I don't know.
Aren't there some games that like noon?
Yeah, I saw 3. Oh no, it's 3 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know. I think I saw 3 p.m., but I was thinking it was Eastern time, so maybe it's 3 p.m. Pacific time. I don't know. I have to look it up. I'll look it up right now while Liam... okay, this is what Liam said. Who do you guys want to represent us in the lottery? Dame gonna clutch up again. Is that who you'd want representing us, Eric? Is Dame?
I mean, if Dame's willing to do it, sometimes that's a little above or below, I guess is the right word, below a star going to that. But I mean, if he wants to go and represent us, sure. Also,
if CJ's going, then he should go.
If, Sean's announced his retirement, but I would always love for Sean's to be a representative, and maybe that's his retirement special is him getting to give us some good luck. Bill Walton doesn't have any affiliation with the team, so I don't really want to give him. I'd also be fine with Billups.
It could be Cronin.
I could see Cronin going just because like that might be his one chance to ever do it.
You know who I could also see? How do you say her name?
Asia Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Asia
yeah,
Jones. I could see
for
her
sure.
doing it.
Yeah,
Um,
but yeah, I don't really care. I guess it just I don't want it to be
Burt
Conan,
Cold.
I guess. Yeah.
Burt Cold is gonna do it.
Yeah.
That would be.
I mean,
Hilarious.
sometimes the owner goes. So maybe,
Yeah.
but Jody would probably get interviewed there, so I doubt she'd want to.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think she'd do it. Selection Sunday time. Let me Google this and find out the actual time. Okay, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
We do lose an hour tonight, dude. Daylight savings time, what, like starts or ends? I forget which one it is. But that being tonight and losing an hour tonight is like the worst night to have it because it's like I gotta get up and watch these games, and I have one less hour to sleep, man. And I have to get out and watch these games and then put together my final bracketology, and I'm gonna put out a filling out my bracket episode tomorrow. So like tomorrow's a busy day for me, and we lose an hour.
Night Arrowmancer.
It's like always. I don't know if it's always on Selection Sunday, but I always hate it when it's on Selection Sunday.
Zach Peters keeps asking about the cap space video. I've completed the video, sent it to Tori. We're just working on some graphics for it. So look for that to be out soon. But yeah, it's still coming. But yeah, it'll be out within the next few days.
Yep. And I've been dropping college basketball articles over on our website, BlazersUprise.com. Been dropping ones every day the past 3 days. Eric's been giving prospect notes for them. I've been dropping bracketology, and I've been dropping games to watch. So I'm going to drop one of those tomorrow morning before the first games of the day. I'll probably publish it in the middle of the night, and then I will drop my final bracketology just as a standalone article after the final game has concluded before Selection Sunday kicks off at 3 p.m. So the articles, I'm proud of what we've been doing. I think these articles are really good. I spent way too long making these graphics, but this is, basically predicting where certain teams will be, just in terms of seed lines and then potential matchups. Boise State might move up to a 7 now that they won their tournament, but if they're an 8 seed, I feel like they're probably going to play in Portland because that's the closest seed and they're not in Gonzaga's conference. There's a bunch of... this is fun to put together. But we've been doing that. We've been doing upcoming games. I made all these logos 3D because I'm a tryhard with the graphics.
I didn't have a chance to fix yours today.
What did I do?
I don't want to scroll down too much.
What did I do?
Pretty much every day you have I know you copy and paste, but you forget to change the team names.
Oh God, which team did I do that for?
It was down a little further, I think.
Oh yeah, Villanova and dang it.
So I've been going through and correcting it, but I was working today, didn't have a
I
chance
only
to
missed
do
one.
it.
Yeah, no, that's my bad.
You have Kansas's Duke too.
Oh, that's cringe. Yeah, I do copy and paste it, but it's like late in the night because here's the thing: for my ratings, I have to wait until the ratings are updated. So then I have to wait till like 1:30 in the morning my time to do it.
Yeah.
And then it takes a lot of work to do that, and then put all these graphics together, change out all these teams, and then do all this. So yeah, I definitely rush it. The logos are always correct, but yeah, dang it, that sucks. But we've been putting out games to watch, like storylines to watch. I've been putting those and prospects to watch, just so you guys can make sure to scout certain guys. I'll probably just put every game tomorrow for games to watch in the article that I'll drop tomorrow morning. And then Eric's been giving prospect notes. I kind of butchered the formatting on that, but that's fine. So yesterday you gave him on Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, the 5 Duke players that could go first round: Johnny Davis, Keegan Murray, Jaime Jaquez, Johnny Zuzang, Isaiah Mobley. So notes on all those guys from Eric. Been really proud of these articles. And I've been publishing my ratings spreadsheet. So this is like the ratings that I use to sort teams and predict where teams will be seated. There's a lot that goes into that, so it's a process. It's a hobby I've been doing for years. I enjoy it, but a lot of work. I'm just hoping I'm accurate tomorrow, because I participate, like I said, I participate with a bunch of other people that do this, and you get graded on accuracy. So I'm going to be nervous tomorrow going into the selection show. You guys might hear me get frustrated with where certain teams are seated simply because it might not be accurate, or my predictions might not be accurate.
Yeah.
So, fingers crossed. Let me actually show the seeds with it. I got the seeds in there. You can't see it because it's off the screen, but I do have these seeds in there. Yep. So that's what we've been doing. I'll drop another one of those tomorrow. Should have plugged it on the stream earlier because I feel like I probably haven't done as good of a job as I could plugging it. Go ahead.
XC Dep says, what team do you have rated the worst in the country?
Who do I have the worst in the country?
Do you do it for every team?
Yeah.
So Oregon State's got to be pretty. I don't know. There's some non-power fives that are probably worse, but at power fives, you got like Georgia, Oregon State.
Yeah, Georgia's pretty bad.
And maybe Georgetown or something.
Yeah, let me maximize this. I'll go down and look. Yeah, I got ratings for every single D1 team. So Oregon State. Where's Oregon State? Oregon State's a 27.4. So they're worse than Bowling Green. Portland State is higher than them.
Jeez. That's one of their only wins is Portland State.
Yeah, 3-28.
They beat like Portland State, Nichols, and Utah.
Yeah. So
thankfully they got one.
Yeah, it's been a rough year
okay,
to follow up.
So what is like the worst team?
The worst team is Mississippi Valley State. They're always really bad.
No, not Jerry Rice's alma mater.
Is that Jerry Rice's alma mater?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
And they got Delaware State and Incarnate Word, which is an interesting name for a college. Coppin State was in their conference championship. This would have been the worst team to ever make the NCAA tournament, probably ever. 9-22, lost their conference championship today. So, but yeah, basically the way this works is I have like a base rating, which is determined off of basically everything to the left of it. So like net, win quality, BPI, KenPom. These are just metrics that the committee looks at, and then I incorporate like quality wins and certain things. The problem is like lower conferences always get overrated in this rating. So then I have another rating which takes into account like conference strength. So you'll see like teams get docked based on like playing in smaller conferences or mid-major colleges. That's why all the teams down here are like -4 or -5 in this column because of the conference they play in. And then I reward teams that played a hard non-conference strength of schedule because the committee does, and then teams get docked if they have a low amount of quality wins, like 0, 1, or 2 quality wins. They get docked for that.
Biased, you have Gonzaga 1.
That's the rating, man. That's the rating.
You fixed the ratings just to me.
Yeah. No, imagine. But see, that's the thing is like this is the consensus top 7 right now. And my rating has them the consensus top 7. If you go through and look and then compare it to consensus, it is pretty close. So that's how I know the ratings are good, you know? There's going to be some difference in opinion. I just have to try and, like, figure out why there's difference in opinion and then nail that difference. Because then it's better than others. But, like, Colorado State's been... Mountain West is hard. Because I was higher on San Diego State than Boise State in my ratings, and people had San Diego State as like a 9. So there's certain teams. There's like I'll nail it on probably 2/3, maybe 3/4 of the teams, but then there's teams in here where it's like I'll be 2 spots higher or 2 spots lower, and I'm nervous that like that's gonna be a mistake, and that maybe I'm missing something in terms of like the formula that calculates all this. So nerdy stuff, man. Oregon, if anybody was curious.
Dro, man, sorry.
What Dro say?
No, remember he was saying Oregon was going to for sure make it.
Did he really say that?
Wasn't that Dro? Like last week?
Was it Dro? I don't know, man. But
I'm sorry, Dro, if it wasn't you. But
Oregon's
there was someone
not
in
making
here
it.
arguing with us that they were going to make it.
Yeah, no. I tried to tell him Oregon wasn't going to make it, but they're 18-14. Like, only 4 quality wins. I don't see how they'd make it.
Well, that was before the tournament. But...
Yeah, I don't know why some of these are like a 0.0 for things that shouldn't be a 0.0 for, but yeah. I mean, Michigan is probably the closest case, but the metrics are higher for them.
Dro, we said at the time, man.
Yeah. Yeah, try it.
It's not like we didn't talk about it then.
I had an argument with somebody on Rutgers. They said Rutgers is going to be in it. So, Let me go to Bracket Matrix. So this is what I'm a part of. You can find mine's linked right here, Uprise. I don't know if that's off the screen. Yeah, but mine's linked right there. It links to the links to our website, which is cool. Links to our website. So, but they nobody has nobody, and we're talking out of 125 people. Nobody has Oregon in. Shoot, somebody even has Washington State in. So that's how you know. But yeah, this is always an interesting site to go look at and see where teams are slotted. But yeah, anyway, that's what I've been up to. Tomorrow's the day, man. I'm excited for it.
Not to change the subject, but
change the subject.
Interesting question from Jonathan Yu. In a hypothetical situation, would it have been in our favor to match the salary of Zach Collins if we knew this year would have been a dud? In my opinion, it would have been useful to do it even if we didn't know that. But yeah, I mean, I get the thinking. The
problem is we were over the tax, and they ended up wanting to duck the tax. The thing is we saved so much money that we still would have been out of the tax even with that contract on our books.
Yep. Now it would look nice to still have the rights to re-sign him, and maybe he gets healthy moving forward enough to play. But yeah.
I'm reading Dre's comments to you. We'll take questions for a little bit.
Do you think Josh Hart will be a better fit than Powell?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. He's just a better defender. There's no sugarcoating that one. Obviously, he's not as good of a three-point shooter, so he doesn't space the floor as well, but he does a lot of the things that Norm does, maybe a little better, getting to the rim and pushing the ball in transition. He's a better passer than Norm, a little better ball handler, so... Yeah, I mean, I could see the comparisons. Like, if I wouldn't be mad if someone thought that Norm was a better player overall, but I think Josh Hart is a much better fit especially with Dame and Ant.
Yeah, if you had a team full of guys that played hard defensively, Norman Powell might be a better fit. But given what we need, we need a guy to set the tone like Josh Hart does.
Mm-hmm.
And Norman Powell did not set the tone at all in regards to just busting his ass, because he didn't do that, unfortunately. Do you guys like Bradley from, I assume that's San Diego State University?
Yeah.
Do you like Bradley? I don't even blanking on the name.
No,
I've watched them too, and I'm blanking on.
I mean, he's okay, but I don't think he's really on the radar for drafts for the NBA that much. Yeah.
See, this is the problem around this time of year. I try and watch so many games and remember so many players that it just becomes a blur.
Yeah.
I know Boise State has some interesting players. Well, Boise State's an interesting team.
See, it's hard because I do this so often that I end up seeing players on the list and stuff, but so I have certain big boards that I refer to, but I won't look at them until after I watch a game, and then I'll write down comments on players that I think are maybe NBA caliber players, and then I'll go look up and search San Diego State, which players are NBA caliber talent or whatever. And so I watched the game last night, and I also watched I forgot who they played the game before that, but I watched that one too. Fresno State, I think it was, because I wanted to watch Orlando Robinson. And yeah, so I was there's a couple guys on San Diego State that are all right. Took a few notes on them, and then searched 5 or 6 big boards, top 100. I also like to search ones for 2023 just in case there's guys who are maybe not on the radar to declare for this draft, but maybe next year. Yeah. And there was no one from San Diego State on any of the sites I went, and I was like, oh, okay. maybe it's not even worth looking into any further, and that if that's the case. But I also like to find sleepers that way. But yeah, it's none of the guys were like, oh my goodness, this guy should be drafted type players that I should put on my list.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just teams that play team ball, and then there's teams that like have a star lead them. That's why I like college basketball. There's more diversity in style of play and kind of way teams are built. So it's intriguing to see how some of those differences clash in the tournament. But really, the only star in the Mountain West is Roddy. Colorado State's like the only team in the Mountain West, the only legit team that like plays through a star.
Well, I mean, we just talked about Orlando Robinson. They're
You got
averages like almost 20 a game.
See, like they're off my radar. I was thinking like team, like I was thinking like out of Boise State,
like
Wyoming, Boise State, Wyoming, San Diego State, and Colorado State. Colorado State's the only one who really like plays for somebody like that. So if you haven't seen David Roddy, he's like what 6'6", 255 pounds, and can pass, can shoot, can handle the ball. Decent athlete. He's just like, he looks like he should be a tight end. And if he doesn't, like, he's going to get drafted this year, I think. So that's not the route, but he seems like a guy that could be a freaking tight end in the NFL. Like, he's just, like, huge. And he's decently twitchy for how heavy he is, how big he is. I want to see what he would be if he, like, lost 20 pounds or 30 pounds in the NBA, because he's already like decently athletic and has some skill. I feel like if he got his weight down, he could be an interesting guy in the NBA. So he's one of my second round sleeper guys right now.
Yeah. I mean, we answered that question every stream pretty much, right? To me, I'm not very impressed with many guys in the second round. Obviously, if Koloko falls to the second round, we take him for sure at 38 or 39, whatever pick we end up getting. But I like a lot of not a lot, but several of the foreign guys, even some guys that might not even come over next year, especially when we're talking second round, just trying to take a flyer on someone, or maybe like high upside, because there's probably like 40 wings that I have a very similar grade on, and like none of them really stand out, and I don't really care to have any of them. But so Ibu Baji is my favorite prospect, like in second round terms, just because just seeing a guy who's 7'1" with a 7'8" wingspan, 9'10" standing reach, and who is super athletic. I don't care that he's not very skilled yet. I just think there's potentially you put him, and I heard someone say this, I think it was maybe Shervin on Twitter earlier, but someone said like they trust Chauncey with anyone who's like 19 or 20 years old. And that's pretty much my thoughts right now, is like I just want to get guys like that have the potential to maybe be, I mean, like there's a million guys you could draft that would probably be solid, like 8th, 9th man rotation guys, defenders or whatever, like, but to like, I just swing for the fences and go for a guy like that, whoever he ever figures it out completely, already has some useful skills on defense, but if his offense ever came around, like he shows flashes of, that would be like a home run pick. But that's kind of my mindset in the second round.
The second round is weird this year, man. There's no like obvious, I don't know, like last year you had Dasumu, who was like, there's no way he should be in the second round. And you had Herb Jones, where I loved Herb Jones. I just didn't want to put him too high in case I was like crazy wrong. I should have, like, thinking back, I remember on draft time, I'm like, if he can just shoot the ball, he's going to be a... What'd you say?
When do you ever worry about being like...
I do, bro. I do. That's...
Why do you care?
Because I feel like it's a situation where if people that scout the draft, like if a bunch of people that scout the draft consistently have him rated much lower than me, then I'm probably the one who's wrong.
But that's why you be bold, because if you're right, then you can be like,
I know, but it's like
right?
it's like a it's
That's
like
why I'm
a
not scared to do it. I
I
don't
mean, it's
care.
not
If
like
I'm
it's
wrong,
not like
I'll admit
a
I'm wrong.
it's not like a conscious thing. It's like
Yeah.
like where people have them gets ingrained in your head, and it's like, oh, I like him a little bit more, so I'm gonna put him like 26th, 27th instead of 40th. You know what I mean? But it's
Right.
like, I don't know, like it's hard not to subconsciously take that into account. You know, like if people had Herb Jones 18th last year, I probably would have also had him like 18th. You know what I mean? It's hard not to. In this year, I'm going to try not to do that because I was absolutely right on Herb Jones and I was absolutely right on Dasunmu. I think I had Dasunmu early 20s and should have had him a little bit higher. Then that's the thing. You can learn from, like, I've tried to learn from misses in the past, like the evaluations that I've had wrong. So anybody who's like a legitimate star in college that has some shooting ability, but maybe it's like a little bit of a knock against them, but like they have the capability to at least knock down a shot, you know, like their jumper isn't completely broken. Any player like that goes in the second round is a sleeper to me now. Because that was the way with the Sunmu, that was the way with Brogdon was a little better shooter in college, but Malcolm Brogdon was a guy, like, guys get knocked for their age, and then there's guys that come in, like Dasumu had a questionable jump shot, but he's been shooting the lights out of the ball, and he's been getting cleaner looks this year than he got last year in college. You know what I mean? So there's certain like statistical profiles like that I'll look for in terms of guys being sleepers, and certain like just certain guys that kind of stand out based on who's been sleepers in the past. The problem is there's nobody like a Dasumu in the second round this year. The closest guy, I guess, is Juzang, but I don't like Juzang.
Well, yeah, we have Max, a Lakers fan, asked about Juzang. He's like a late second round pick, probably. Yeah, I don't know I don't think he makes sense for the Blazers either. So I would not draft him if I was on the Blazers, but he's probably going to be late second or undrafted.
Yeah. But there's like nobody that jumps out to me in the second round, man. David Roddy's the only guy that jumps out at me. And that's just because I mean, this is per 36 minutes that I'm looking at on Tankathon, but he's per 36 averaging 21 points per game, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, and shooting like 40 some. Let me see what he's shooting 45.5% from 3.
I mean, I guess it also depends on who falls. I guess like we were saying, because I still see like every mock draft I'm seeing is like Koloka's either going to go back to school or he's going to be like early second round pick. It's like if that's the case, that's a travesty because that guy should go way higher than that.
Yeah, I agree. If Christian Brown falls to the second round, he's a sleeper, I think. You don't like his game?
Not at the NBA level. I don't think I just don't think he's a good enough shooter. I don't think he's a good enough. He's just like okay at a lot of things, and I just don't think he's good enough at any of those.
Yeah, I just think he has I think he's. I mean, he can make plays for himself and make plays for others. I don't know. Like, he's not going to be a guy that's breaking anybody down off the dribble, but just catch and shoot. I think he's fine. And that's the thing, though, is like sleepers are going to have some negatives, but I don't think his form is broken. I think he could be one of those guys that gets into the NBA and shoots a little better than people expect. And then if he's getting ran off the line, he's really good attacking closeouts and kind of getting into the paint and finishing or maybe dishing it off for others. So, and he's 6'7". That's just kind of like an intriguing profile for me in the second round compared to like, it's not as good of a second round this year. Like, I'd rather have that than a lot of what I see in the second round right now than like a Caleb Houston who doesn't really do anything off the dribble.
But see, that's what I'm saying is like, I mean, everything breaks right, and Christian Brown to me is like a okay role player. Like I'd rather just not take a guy like that and just swing for the fences with a foreign guy or just like something like that. Yeah.
See, that's why I like Roddy.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I like Roddy. Because I think out of everybody kind of in that 30s range that I see in mock drafts, he's the only guy that has upside to be like a player like that, like what you're saying. So, I mean, maybe if Patrick Baldwin Jr. falls, he's had a rough year in college. Harrison Ingram just doesn't have the burst to me. he's skilled. I just see him struggling to create separation in the NBA. Like who's other than a foreign guy, like who has upside like that in that range of the draft? Like who else? Is there anybody else that pops out to you? Or
I mean,
do you
like I
agree
said,
where it's just kind of a dead second round?
It depends on who falls, I guess. Like it's hard to me to say that right now without it being a little closer to draft time or who declares and stuff, because we still don't even know who the draft pool is going to be.
What do you think of Liddell?
I don't like how. I don't think his game is going to translate well because he's only like 6'6", 6'7", and he plays like a big man. Like I know he can shoot and stuff, but I just think he's. I mean, if you're going to be that size and be a big in the NBA, you have to have like insane athleticism, like a Zion, you know. And I just don't think he has that. I mean, he's super skilled, but he's just the kind of guy who is going to be like an okay scorer off the bench, maybe in the NBA. But once again, I don't see like him being the level player he is in college in the NBA level.
I think for him, it just comes down to like I hate watching Ohio State. I don't know why. I've just never liked Ohio State. I haven't watched much of him, so that's why I'm asking you. But I think it'd probably come down to his defense. I've heard he's a good defensive player. He averages 2.5 blocks per game. Obviously, this is just kind of like casual analysis, considering I haven't watched enough of him. But like, if he can defend and then knock down threes and pass a little bit, then I think he's fine. I think that is a high floor guy, maybe in the 20s compared to some other prospects.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it comes down to for me, and that's what I'll be looking for in March Madness. They'll probably only play one game because they always get upset, but you know, I'm going to be paying attention to his defense.
Yeah, see, I think Malachi Branham's going to be a much better pro, but
I haven't watched him either. So that's another guy I need to watch. Ohio State guy. So that's it. You can knock out 2 prospects in one game with Ohio State, and we'll see who they're playing. You know, they could end up playing like Memphis in the first round, so you could see Duren too, which would be interesting. Because Memphis is on a 10 line and Ohio State's on a 7 line right now. So, yeah, I don't know. I wish this was last year's draft. Last year's draft there was more prospects in the second round that I liked.
Well, I mean, we're still early. I mean, last year it was a week before the mock draft, and you hadn't done like any research. Really.
I know. I'm far ahead this year compared to last year, but
so I still think there's a long way to go.
But normally it's like I'll watch a guy, or have watched a guy in previous years, and it's been like I liked Herb Jones before last year, because I used to mess around and do like 2K draft classes back in the day. So, like, I watched some Herb Jones, you know, to try and get his ratings right. I watched some Herb Jones, like, his freshman year, his sophomore year, like, looked at some of his film, and Alabama's been pretty solid for a while now. So, you know, I was familiar with his game. So, like, I already knew that was a guy that I liked. There's nobody like that this year except for Roddy. Roddy's the only guy out. Like Koloko in the second round too. But I think Koloko should be a first round. I don't think he's a second round grade. All these people have Koloko in the second round on their mock drafts and whatnot, and I don't agree with it. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I have Koloko. I have him 16th on my board.
Yeah, that's about where I would have him. So we agree on Koloko. It was funny because I liked Agbaji, I think, a little bit, see, that's where I'm, like, not listening to big boards, because I don't know if you remember a while ago I posted, like, my top 10, and I had Agbaji at 10. Do you remember that?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, and that was when, like, on most big boards, Agbaji was at, like, 20 to 25, and then 2 days later, all of a sudden, I see him, like, 10 to 14. So, like, that's where I'm, like, not even listening, because it was like, oh, the people are going to think this is crazy, and I put him at 10. And now all of a sudden, it's like a late lotto guy.
Yeah, like, I saw him in the late lottery as, like, last year at times, but yeah. I don't think that was crazy.
Yeah, he has such a high floor to me.
See,
You know, like Kansas players.
No, 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 no. I love Agbaji.
You like? Yeah, okay, cool.
Guess where he's at on my big board right
Where?
now? 8.
Yeah, I can respect that. I would be. I would consider putting him up that high. He's gonna get docked because on draft night he's gonna be 22 years old, but he's like further ahead. You know what I mean? It's like, what, you're going to draft somebody who's worse now, who hopefully they can be as good as Agbaji when they're 22? Like, Agbaji has a high enough ceiling with a high floor.
Yeah, he worked out with Dame over the summer.
Uh-huh.
I think his measurements are going to come out better than people think, unlike Mathurin, who might be a little smaller than people think.
Yeah.
I think the fact that, I mean, other than Christian Brown, who you already talked about, like Kansas doesn't really have a lot of like players that scare you, and so he gets like all the defensive attention. So I think if he's measures out at small forward size and can get on a team with like Dame and Ant, and he can focus on defense and just getting much more open shots than he ever got in college. I think that could be like one of the perfect situations for him. Now, if I'm a rebuilding team, I'm not taking him that high, but I would have no problem if the Pelicans pick Convey if we picked Agbaji there. I would actually be a fan of that. I'm not saying I would necessarily take him over like a Keegan Murray or whatever, but like I would not have an issue with it if that was the route we took.
Yeah. So let me propose something. Let me pull up Tankathon's mock draft. I'm just looking at like draft positioning with this. So I want to propose something to you and something to chat, and then we'll go around the NBA. Let me get this set up here. Give me a sec. But it's a draft day trade, depending on where our picks are. That I want to propose. Where is right there? Okay, cool. All right. So if we end up with a 9th pick, and this could mean like 8 and 9 or 1 and 9, like regardless of where our pick ends up, if we get the Pelicans pick at 9, what do you think about the potential possibility of trading 9 down to OKC at 15 and then getting another future first? Because they have a ton of future firsts, and like maybe they fall in love with somebody at 9.
Yeah. Man, that's tough because then we could use that first to attach to our TPE to get someone.
Yeah, or we could trade it to Chicago potentially and get our first back.
Yeah. Man. Because Agbaji might still be there at 15.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Here's my like reasoning behind why it would be smart for Portland. Not only do you get that future first, but it's like at 9, let's say this is the top 8, right? Chet, Jabari, Banchero, Ivy, Griffin, Sharp, Murray, Johnny Davis, okay? So 9 through 14, like Ty Washington, I think will be off the board. Mathurin will be off the board. Durham will be off the board. So that would, let's say that's like 9, 10, 11. Then 12 through 14, Tari Eason, Ochai Agbaji, Nikola Jovic. I would like any 3 of those guys. Mm-hmm. And I highly doubt that everybody that I've named gets picked through 14. Like there's a very, very likely chance that like a Dyson Daniels gets picked a little higher, like a Beauchamp or a Sohan, right? So you're probably looking at one of Tari Eason, Jovic, or Agbaji at 15.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it would be very nice if the same person OKC wanted was the same person we would also take if we stayed at 9, and then we could wait to see exactly who was still left on the board. But obviously, that's probably unrealistic.
Yeah.
I think in my mind, it kind of depends on who we take it at 8. or who's still on the board there.
Yeah, or maybe we have the third pick. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
right.
um,
Because honestly, if we get Bankero, I wouldn't mind trading back and taking Mark Williams too, because they play really well together, like
yeah,
off each other.
yeah, yeah. That's the thing. Like at 15, you could even trade it down for like. Because I like this draft through about like 2021, so maybe like 15. I don't know where these Spurs picks are going to end up, but maybe they're a little bit lower. Spurs have 17 and 21, maybe 15 and our second and like a future second. That's probably not enough for 17 and 21. Um, but like you could maybe trade down a little bit further and get more assets because you have three really good centers. So if you want to come out of this draft with a center, like Walker Kessler, Mark Williams, and Christian Koloko, you could probably trade down to like 19, 20, 21, and one of those three will be left on the board. I have Walker Kessler the lowest, and then Mark Williams and Koloko I have about even. Um, do you agree with that?
Uh, I I go back and forth between Williams and Koloko, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't like Walker Kessler at all.
I don't dislike him as much as you do.
Yeah.
Um, like he blocks a lot of shots and he
Mhm.
can shoot a little bit. He has to get better as a shooter. Damn, he's only 20%. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. He shoots a 3.5 a game. I thought he was shooting
I don't
better
like
than
his
that.
free throw percentage either.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. He's like one of those guys that could maybe become an okay 3-point shooter years down the line. But like he blocks shots well, and he's the least mobile out of the three. But I wouldn't say he's like a stiff.
Oh, he's not at all stiff,
So
but yeah,
but like he could go above those two. It sounds
yeah.
like.
Hopefully,
So
if we did in that scenario, that would be awesome.
yeah, for some reason it's like Kessler and Mark Williams are in the same tier, and then Koloko in a lot of mock drafts is down here, and I don't understand that. Koloko
Hmm.
should be up there. So like that's the thing. You could trade down to 21, 22, take Koloko, and I'd love that. I mean, the thing is with Koloko, I think he has passing
But
upside.
we might only need to go up to like late first, early second to get Koloko. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he averages almost 3 blocks a game. He has passing upside.
Hmm.
He
I
shows
agree.
flashes, good flashes there, and he's mobile. He's mobile, and he's. This system is 7'1". I don't know how tall he is, but I don't think he's quite 7'1". But he has long arms. Like
Yeah.
measurements works out.
Hmm.
Like he. I don't know if this comparison are good, but is good. But he just feels like the next Clint Capella to me.
Yeah. Although he shoots 73% from the free throw, which suggests that maybe
Yeah.
he's got some shooting
Well,
potential.
that's the other thing.
But
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, Capella's what? Isn't he closer to like a 50 to 60% free
Yeah.
throw shooter
Yeah.
in the NBA? So,
Yeah. I mean,
but
he
yeah,
could be
like
more than Capella. Like that's the thing. I think he has playmaking and shooting upside.
defensively, sure, yeah.
His free throw percentage his freshman year was like 37%
Mhm.
or something horrible. And in
Dude,
a
he's
couple
gotten
years,
so much better.
yeah, a couple years he's gone up to 74%. And I don't know when he started playing basketball. It says he's from Cameroon. So a lot of those guys seemingly start playing basketball later than normal. So that might mean he has more room for growth simply because he just doesn't have a ton of experience yet, which actually might be a good thing. Um, so yeah, I like Koloko a lot for those reasons. He just seems like at least he's going to be Clint Capella because defensively he's going to be good. He's going to be a legitimate lob target. Um, so yeah, I like Koloko a lot.
Yeah. With Koloko or Mark Williams, I would feel comfortable with either being our backup center next year.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's no like
Oh,
the only stretch five is Orlando Robinson, but he doesn't really play defense.
yeah. I mean, it's okay, but yeah,
He doesn't play defense like the other three.
yeah, yeah. Maybe if we didn't get a center in our other picks, but I mean, the guy I mentioned does play defense earlier.
Who?
Abubaji.
Oh, Agbaji. No,
No,
Ibdu.
Baji.
Yeah, I thought you said Ochai
Ibu.
Agbaji.
No,
Aiku. Yeah, whatever you say.
Ibu. Yeah,
I haven't seen him on boards though.
yeah. He's well, it's weird. Some draft boards and mock drafts don't have him
Yeah.
on here, and some have him like mid or late first, early second. But yeah,
I wonder if Precaution's going to enter the draft because, dang, our pick is down to 59 now.
I
But
know,
like with
'cause they
59,
passed.
if Precaution's still there, if okay, at 59, I think we're going draft and stash. Because 4 picks, you're probably not going to want 4 rookies on the team next year. The two-way contracts make that more feasible, but I feel like we're going draft and stash at 59 because there's a lot of European prospects around there. If Precaution's still on the board, that's my pick at 59.
So Dro says people are sleeping on Jovic. If he's available in the 12 to 17, we have to take him. I mean,
That's the
Tori,
range
that was
I
one
have
of
him
the
in. So
3 players he mentioned if we traded back to 15. So I don't know why we're sleeping on him.
Dro is always so like, dude, like I'll say an opinion and then Dro will just be like, man, what the hell, sleeping on him, and then he'll restate my opinion. That's like the Dro thing to do, is to like agree with me by saying I'm wrong.
Mm.
I think more. I think, Chris, why are you trying to get people to click off the stream, bruh? Who cares about Norm being on IG Live? I don't care about Norm being on IG Live, man. Because you're, oh yeah, Tankathon Sim. That's what we were supposed to do. What am I doing?
Abib is saying that we have to get Jabari or Chet, and if not, we have to get Murray and Eason. Murray or... And so I asked him to clarify, and he said, those are the best power forward and small forwards possible. Those 4 names. If Portland can't get Jabari or Chet, they must get one, if not both, of Eason and Murray. I mean...
AJ Griffin? Hello?
It's very possible that... I mean, like, if we finished how we are right now, we're 8 and 9?
Yeah.
It's very possible that Eason is the only person even available for us to get. So, like, I'm fine with Eason, but like, I don't know. It's I don't know how we can get more than one of those guys unless Murray falls, but it does not look like that's going to be a possibility. His stock's going up, not down.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about Keegan Murray, because that's what we're going to talk about, Keegan Murray. And then we'll do Tankathon, around the NBA, Tankathon Sim, and wrap up the draft. So, my opinion is maybe a hot take, but I think people are starting to really overrate Keegan Murray as a prospect. And I understand why, because he's been balling out. Like, he's one of those guys that is a phenomenal college player. And there's guys that are phenomenal college players, and it doesn't necessarily equal phenomenal NBA player. I think Keegan Murray has one of the highest floors in the draft. I think next year he could be potentially rookie of the year. Like, I think he's NBA ready. I don't think he has as high of a ceiling as people think he does. Because I don't think he hasn't shown that he has the ball handling capabilities to be like a star level scorer in the NBA. And a star level scorer in the NBA is somebody that can handle the ball in pick and rolls and create their own shot against one-on-one defense on the perimeter. He seems like one of those guys that'll be a good scorer playing within the flow of the offense as a role guy. I don't see the star potential with him. And I feel like people think he's going to be a star simply because he's putting up star numbers in college.
Well, I mean, that's part of it, but he definitely... I mean, you make it sound like he doesn't have those skills. He absolutely could be a good facilitator, put the ball on the court, dude, on the dribble. Like,
I mean, maybe, but like,
he's scary.
I've gone through like his scoring highlights just because I want to see plays in which he scored. I can't find a play in which he scores handling the ball in a pick and roll. And that could just be Iowa.
Have you not watched the Iowa game?
I mean, I've watched Iowa games, but like, I was looking specifically for, okay, I want to see him score out of handling the ball in the pick and roll. So like that's what I was looking at highlights for. Is I was like, because it's just scoring plays. So I was looking at scoring plays, just looking for like a situation where okay, he's running the pick and roll as a ball handler and scoring. And I can't find any. I don't know if I'm looking at the wrong games or what.
I mean, he doesn't. It's the same thing that I say about like Jalen Duren. It's like, or Duren, sorry. Like if you look at his numbers and his like plays and stuff, like it seems like he has no passing skills. But then he'll, like every once in a while, make a pass that was like next level type pass or whatever. But like when you watch Iowa play, Keegan Murray absolutely shows flashes of being able to do all those things. He just doesn't have to do them because he's so gifted as a scorer in other areas.
Yep. By the way, 5-minute ban for our mod Krish for putting Alvaro in a 5-minute timeout and trying to get people to leave the stream. Can't believe I had to put one of my mods in a timeout, Eric. Oh my goodness. I mean, like Keegan Murray's a smart player. Like he can pass. It's just like I think a lot of his opportunities to do so is just going to come from him playing within the flow of the offense, not being the guy. I don't see him being the guy in the NBA. And I feel like some people see him putting up like insane numbers in college and be like, oh, he could be a all-star level scorer, like a 22 point per game guy, 23 point. I don't see his game translating to that in the NBA.
I definitely think he could be a 20 point per game scorer. That doesn't necessarily mean he's a star or whatever. But I could definitely see him being a good scorer in the NBA.
Yeah, like a John Collins type of scorer.
I mean,
not
sure.
like he's not. There's a lot of differences between him and John Collins, but like John Collins isn't gonna like control things on the perimeter, handling the ball, doing anything like that, running pick and rolls. I think Keegan Murray maybe has a little bit more potential for that than John Collins ever did. John Collins is a little taller, so they're different, but like that type of guy.
Yeah, I just he's proven to me. I've watched. I think today was my 8th game of his I've watched this year, and every time I watch him, I'm just like, because I go into it kind of thinking the same thing you are. This guy seems a little unathletic. I don't know how he's going to do this, and then he like proves me wrong every time. So like I'm done doubting this guy. I think he's I think he's done.
You could go into Gonzaga games saying that about Drew Timme, and then Drew Timme pops off for 30. You know what I mean?
But no, because I watch Drew Timme play, and every time I watch him, it's like there's no way he's going to do that on the NBA level, right? And then, like I watch Keegan thinking the same thing, like he's not going to get this thing, and then he does something that's like, whoa, like if he does that, he could score in the NBA. So like.
See, I go into it thinking the same thing, and then I feel like I see some of the same plays, and I still think the same thing. Whereas you disagree with that, which is cool. We're gonna disagree on a number of prospects. That's kind of the difference with me and other people. I don't have confidence in him being like an all-star scorer. And then defensively, I have some question marks as well.
But I mean, what does that mean? All-star scorer, like
DJ Vegas says, love when Eric rolls his eyes at one of Troy's takes. It always happens when you disagree with me on draft prospects.
No, it's just I don't know what he's talking about there, but maybe I do it subconsciously. But I lost my train of thought. I don't know. It's like, I mean, if you pick him at 6 or 7 and he's an 18-point a game scorer, I mean, you're acting like that's a negative thing, and
I'm not acting like that's a negative. I said he could be one. I said he could win Rookie of the Year next year. I don't see how that's a negative thing. He's NBA ready. He's NBA ready in terms of his role. I just don't see much room for growth outside of that role. I don't see him becoming like a guy that's going to control the offense on the perimeter with the ball in his hands, being the type of ball handler to break down a defense, being a pick and roll ball handler. He doesn't do that stuff.
But I mean, most of the prospects aren't that, so I don't know why you hold.
Yeah, but
him
they'll
to
show
that.
like flashes of doing that. Matherin handles the ball and pick and
He
rolls.
can
Like,
absolutely throw flashes. You're wrong on that. He absolutely shows flashes of being able to do that. So.
I don't see the flashes. I just disagree on that. I don't think he's going to be like. I don't think it's likely that it ends up being a star level scorer. Which you can hate that, but that's whatever.
No, I feel like you haven't watched him enough. I don't know. Like maybe.
Yeah, that's every time you disagree with one of my draft takes.
No,
That's kind of the feeling I get from you.
But like I don't. Are you? Never. I'll drop it.
Yeah. Okay. You can say what you're gonna say. Go ahead, don't drop it. No. Entertain the people. They want to hear this argument.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to pursue it anymore. It's cool.
Okay. All right. Time to go around the NBA then. All right. Let me go to Tankathon before I go to that. We're gonna look at Tankathon first. Okay, and then we'll go around the NBA. All right. Tankathon. So we lost a spot, Eric. We moved down from 7 to 8. We are now a game. How are we a game back at San? Oh yeah, we were tied. Okay, so we were tied with San Antonio, but because we played 2 less games, we had a lower win percentage. That's why we were 7th. So we're a game behind San Antonio, but we're even in the win column. Okay, which I think is probably more important because wins are less likely. Isn't that what we determined last stream?
What did you say? Sorry, I didn't follow that.
Is win column more important to look at compared to loss column? Do you
Well,
think
that
for
was
taking teams?
Coming from a mindset that hopefully we lose almost every game the rest of the season, yeah.
Yeah. So who knows if that's going to happen? I mean, obviously we won the freaking basketball game today, but we're a game behind them, but we are even in the win column. So if you want to look at that, we are even. But we fell down from 32% chance at number 1, or not number 32% chance at the top 4, and now it's back down to 26%. I liked having 32%. It feels so much. I don't know why it feels so much more of a chance at 32% than it does at 26%. I don't know why, but would love to move up to 5 or 6. We're still 4 games back of Indiana. If we lost today, we'd only be 3 games back out of 5th, and that's a 42% chance of the top 4. So it sucks that we ended up winning this game. We're even with Sacramento and New Orleans over the last 10. You got Lakers are tied 11 and 12 with Washington. Washington's trying to tank at this point. I think they're 3 games out of the play-in. New York is currently a game and a half better than us. That's the lottery at this point. Let's simulate it and scroll up. We never have luck on our post-game show draft lotteries, and we'll see if that changes with this one. Normal up to this point, Washington 11, New York at 10, New Orleans at 9 to us. Let's see if we get some luck at 8. It's us. We've had worse, but oh wow, at 6 you go from no teams moving up to 4 teams moving up. Indiana at 4, Detroit at 3, Oklahoma City at 2, and Sacramento at 1. Good for Sacramento. They probably find a way to screw it up. If Sacramento was at 1, do you think there's a chance that they would take Jaden Ivey at 1? Considering it's Sacramento and they just traded Halliburton for Sabonis and now they need a guard.
No, I don't think they would do that at 1.
I don't think they would either, but if there would be a team to take Jaden Ivey at 1, I feel like it'd be Sacramento.
Yeah.
That would be...
The interesting one would be Detroit. I could see them taking either Banchero or Ivy. That would be interesting to see which one they went with.
I think Detroit goes Banchero.
Indiana would be so happy if they took Ivy, probably.
Oh, yeah. Oh, for
in
sure.
this scenario, yeah.
I think this would go... Who do you like? I mean, you like Jabari more, and Jabari fits next to Sabonis.
Yeah.
I just feel like maybe you want a rim protector next to Sabonis since he can't do that, so Chet would make sense. Gonzaga front court.
I'm taking Jabari.
I'm taking Chet for Sacramento just because I think they need a rim protector, and Sabonis is not that. It would kind of be like that Miles Turner Sabonis, but that didn't work out in Indiana, so I don't know. But one of those two, Oklahoma City takes Chet or Jabari, whichever one's on the board. Detroit, Banchero. Indiana, I think, would go Ivy at that point. And then Houston probably goes AJ Griffin. That's probably your top 5. Houston, if they're not top 3, I think is a great fit for AJ Griffin. They kind of need some shooting. Need a small forward of the future. I don't think Kevin Porter Jr. is it. But yeah, that's the Tankathon sim.
I agree with Tyler. Sacramento doesn't deserve the top pick. Poverty franchise and poverty job at trying to. This is a team that's actually trying to make the play in this year. They make an all-in trade their best young player, and they're completely stupid. And if they get rewarded for this crap, I'm gonna be so pissed off.
Yeah, yeah. Agreed.
If we don't move up and they freaking move up. Ugh.
See, some people would say the same about us, though, to be honest.
No, but like, I mean, our goal isn't to make the play-in right now, right? Sacramento's goal is to actually make the play-in. Same with New Orleans. So like a little bit of that with New Orleans is injury, misfortune, or safety protocols. You know what I mean? But like, if New Orleans moves up, I'll say the same thing. Like that team tried to make moves to make the play-in. If they suck so bad that they get up into the top four, like screw that, man.
Yeah,
we're just like trying to get good odds for 1 year. Like we haven't been bad for several years or whatever.
Yeah, but people will look at it like, oh, they didn't give Dame any help, and then the second Dame gets hurt, they tank harder than any team ever, and they should be rewarded.
San Antonio did that, and that was like the best tank job of all time.
I know. It's just
Gibson doesn't want.
It's just weird being with the poverty teams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like we're amongst them.
I know, but those teams are trying to actively win. Like they came out and said they want to make the play-in, and they can't even do that, right? And to get rewarded,
they suck.
Yeah,
they suck. They need the help, man. They need another star. Jabari they need another star scorer. So Jabari might actually make more sense for Sacramento there if they got number one. Anyway, that is Tankathon. Let's hop into around the NBA. I don't know how many scores we had. You got Minnesota taking care of business against the Heat. I love that Heat logo, by the way.
Liam said the Warriors also did it, which is true, but they're currently not getting much help from. I mean, Wiseman hasn't even played from them this year, and I mean Kuminga's been pretty good, but Moody hasn't played a ton either outside of injury situations. So it's not like their lottery picks are what got them to be a good team now.
Yeah, that's true. As far as the games today, Timberwolves have won, 8 in a row? Is that what it's at now? They've won, 8 in a row. No, 7th win in 8 games.
No, they lost to the Magic yesterday.
Yeah, they've won 7 and 8, though. 2 of them were against us, so I don't know if you count those as actual wins.
Guys, I know Moody's been playing lately. I said outside of injury situations, they have a lot of guys out lately. That's why Moody's been playing. But up until this point, like the Warriors were doing really well this season, and Kuminga was barely playing. Moody was barely playing, if at all, and Wiseman wasn't playing at all. So that I'm talking about when they got off to a good start earlier in the season. It had nothing to do with any of their lottery picks.
Yep. Agreed. Timberwolves had 8 guys in double figures. It wasn't just one guy. Their leading scorer was actually Noel off the bench, 16 points. The Heat finally got healthy and now are missing Jimmy Butler, so they can't stay healthy. Victor Oladipo also didn't play in this one. He recently made his return after a long hiatus. The Pacers beat the Spurs in a battle of tanking teams, except the Pacers are trying to win? Question mark? I don't know. But the Pacers take care of business. Tyrese Halliburton, 19 points, 10 assists for him.
I think they're better off without Brogdon at this point.
Yeah.
Because like Tyrese can just take over.
Yeah, dude, they're starting Isaiah Jackson. They playing Dwayne Washington off the bench. Like, this is a bad Pacers team. Kiefer Sykes off the bench. Dwayne Washington had 19 points off the bench in 21 minutes. So that's basically what this game was. Jock Landale for the Spurs was their leading scorer. 12 for 15 from the field, had 26 points in 35 minutes. Zach Collins started 20 minutes, 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists for the former Blazer, but 4 personal fouls. So he's not quite Jock Landale, I guess. The Bulls, 101-91, they beat the Cavs. We'll take a look at the Eastern Conference standings in a second. DeRozan and Vucevic. Caruso's back. Yeah, so they're finally getting some.
Being set out with the knee injury still.
Both these teams went from lottery to competing in the East, but have also had terrible injury luck along the way. Chicago takes care of business, though. They get 25 from DeRozan.
Cleveland is now, well, we'll talk about this in a minute, but Cleveland's now been passed in the standings by Boston and is in danger of falling into the play-in. Yeah.
That would suck, man. I want them to make the playoffs just straight
Yeah.
up. Yeah, they didn't have Markkinen today. They didn't have Jared Allen. They had Garland, Mobley, and Kevin Love. It's kind of weird Kevin Love being on this iteration of the Cavs. Like, the Cavs are good again, and Love's been solid this year. It's kind of strange.
Yep.
The Warriors beat the Bucks 122-109. Klay Thompson had a season-high 38 points for the Warriors. Giannis had 31 for the Bucks. The Jazz beat the Kings. The Kings looked like they might be able to get this win. It was a terrible night for the tank, Eric. It looked like we could maybe gain a game on the Kings, and we lost a game on the Kings. So, tough luck. Jordan Clarkson had a career-high 45 points. So, role players just popping off tonight, I guess. Because Jordan Clarkson had himself a game for the Jazz. De'Aaron Fox, 41 points in the loss. Freaking Kings, man. The Raptors beat the Nuggets 127-115. Siakam had 33 points to go along with 7 assists. Scotty Barnes, 25 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds, almost had a triple-double. You got the Blazers as the final game of the night. Taking care of business. Josh Hart pouring in 44 freaking points. Let's look at the standings. Western Conference standings. Memphis and Golden State tied for second right now at 46-22. Looks like Memphis has the tiebreaker in that one, I assume, because they are still in second. Utah's barely hanging on to fourth. Dallas right behind them. Denver's there. I haven't really looked at this portion of the standings in a while. I haven't really cared to. But Minnesota has a chance to move out of the play-in. They're only a game and a half back of Denver. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to do that.
Yeah, for sure.
Denver could be scary. Do you know when Jamal Murray's supposed to be back?
Him and Michael Porter Jr. could be back in the next week or two.
Yeah, I mean, Denver could be a scary team. That's not a team I would want to face in the first round if I was Memphis or Golden State. I would much rather face, Minnesota or Dallas. So Denver is going to be interesting. That's the thing this year is it seems like you're going to have some teams getting healthy at lower seeds that could just throw a complete wrench in things, which is going to make. We'll predict the playoffs like we always do on a Blazers Uprise Live episode right before they start. The predictions are going to be interesting if you have like Denver as a 6 seed. And let's look at the East. You got Brooklyn there at 8. So they could shake things up if they get healthy. I was looking at this the other day. I want Brooklyn, Philadelphia. Do you want Brooklyn, Philadelphia? Do you agree with that?
I mean, that'd be awesome, yeah.
Yeah. Beavis said he wouldn't watch it. He said it would be a boring series. Good old Beavis. So I wanted to make sure, it wasn't just me that wanted that series. Brooklyn, Philadelphia would be nice. I want to see Miami, Toronto. Kyle Lowry versus old team would be interesting. Give me, honestly, like Cleveland taking on Milwaukee would be interesting because Cleveland has a lot of size to throw at Giannis. And it'd be the defending champs versus the Cinderella of the year. And then Chicago-Boston, I think, would be a good classic series. That's the 4 matchups I want.
Yeah. Did you mention Toronto?
Yeah, Toronto-Miami.
Okay.
Kyle Lowry versus old team would be... Yeah. Those two teams don't like each other, too, so that would be an interesting series as well. Let's look at the next 5 games. You got Atlanta, New York, Brooklyn, Indiana, Detroit. Detroit, that's where the easy part of our... Actually, Indiana is where the easy part of our schedule starts, Eric.
Yeah. I mean, gotta lose to Atlanta on Monday. Gotta lose to the Knicks. I mean, we should lose to the Nets, although it is a home game for them, so Kyrie can't play right still.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, where are you going with this? Yeah, home game for them, so Kyrie can't play that. That's right. Yeah,
but we shouldn't have any way to stop Durant.
A great opportunity to lose 3 games. And then at Indiana, that game starts at like 12:30 p.m., so that's so early, right? We should just sleepwalk through that game and lose that one as well.
I mean, if we want to have a chance to still make it, we pretty much have to lose to the Pacers, but yeah.
Dude, what's with the spam bots in chat? Thank you, mods, for handling that faster than I can. Yeah, I mean, just lose these games, see where we're at, and then go into this easy part of our schedule with our eyes closed, hoping we can lose the games.
Jake Velosa says 1-4, Knicks blow a lead against us once again.
Oh, but
That
we
would
lose to
that would be
Detroit and
worse.
Indiana. That would be funny.
That'd be worse. That would be so horrible if we're down like 23 and we come back and beat the Knicks again.
How far are the Knicks out of the play-in?
We don't have Anthony this time though, so
Are the Knicks even trying to win anymore? They're 4.5 games out of the play-in.
yeah, man, they're trying.
Maybe they should stop trying. Maybe that'd be better for winning
Maybe
games.
that's the problem.
Maybe
yeah.
they're trying too hard. At least Julius Randle was probably trying too hard. Those are the next 5 games. That is around the NBA. Yeah. This was a normal stream. We haven't had a normal stream in a while. We'll do normal streams with graphics for wins, I guess. And then we've been kind of cutting it short on losses.
Yeah.
Look, what you laughing at?
Just normal stream, yeah.
Yeah, this isn't normal anymore.
No, I meant like, it's just funny to like say that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't mean anything by the laugh. It's just kind of funny hearing that, like we're playing normal or something.
Yeah, I should call this the abnormal stream now.
Yeah.
This is I'll call it a throwback stream at this point. Maybe that's more more logical to call it. But yeah, we've been doing abridged, versions without all the graphics and stuff, and those have still been fun. But the win tonight, lots of great performances to talk about. So it's been a fun 2.5 hours streaming with you guys. I'll be live tomorrow. I don't know. You can join me if you want. Impromptu if you want to, whatever, it doesn't matter. But we'll be streaming. I will be streaming my reaction at least to Selection Sunday and kind of talking about that, and then I will upload my bracket picks. Okay, and if you're gonna be in our bracket pool, I ask that you don't watch that. Okay, until Thursday. All right, if you're in our bracket pool, you obviously can, and then you could steal all my picks, but. I ask that if you're in our bracket pool, don't watch that until Thursday when brackets are locked. But for those of you who aren't, you can look at my bracket picks. I'll give you a little bit of bracket advice. I've had pretty good luck the past 3 years picking brackets. So hopefully it's the 4th year in a row. We'll see. I feel like this is the year where I get screwed over because I don't know who I like and who I don't like. A lot of these teams are iffy to me.
Dude, I feel like there's the normal team. There's only a handful of teams that could ultimately win it all, but there's so many teams that I feel like could get carried by one guy. It's pretty deep.
Yeah. I mean, Sorry, I was reading Trevor's comment. I don't think I ever modded Valley Pod Trevin. Anyway, go ahead, Eric.
Mac Mall says midnight streams are normal. Like, man, you missed the early days of Blazers Uprise, where about this time we just start talking about like Panda Express and random things for hours.
That's like a classic stream clip that I haven't been able. I've looked through past streams and tried to find that stream clip, and I haven't found it. So if anybody can go through our year 1 streams and find the clip where I talked about Panda Express for like 20 minutes, you will get a shout out, because I want to do stream highlights this off season. I've never done stream highlights, and I've been watching and taking timestamps for some old streams and some streams this year. It would be funny to do like a funny moments montage once every week or two during the off season, just filler content. That would be fun. So if you can help me find that clip, if you find that video, just comment the timestamp on that video, because I can look at all your comments and see it. Which Panda Express? Oh, Jackson, get out of here. Dro, I've answered that a million times, man.
You should know the answer to that, Dro.
A million times. So yeah, I mean, if you guys ever just feel like watching an old stream and you think there's moments that are funny, timestamp them in the comments and help me make those videos, because I can just go back and clip it at the comments. I can actually clip certain... There's actually like a clip option for the channel now. I don't know how that works, but if you look below the video, there's like a clip thing where you guys can clip parts of the stream. I don't really know how that works yet, but that's something new that YouTube's rolled out, so I'll have to figure that out. I can tell who the OGs are. You know what I mean? I can tell just by looking at chat right now who the OGs are. Was that what the term is? He'll get it out when he moves at the end of the summer. Man, I that offer still stands if he wants his dono back, and I offered him, and he said, "Nah, it's all good." So,
I don't think we talked about General Tso's chicken. I think it was mostly just orange chicken, right? Was the
it was
debate?
orange chicken. We started talking about other food joints. Were you even in that stream?
Yeah.
Or were you just watching that stream? Because remember how first year I didn't bring you on. I brought you on for like 4 out of every 5 post-game shows, and I soloed them sometimes.
Wasn't that because like someone randomly said like I was a fish because I drank a lot or something, even though I don't drink really? And remember, it was like
That's an old school joke.
Wasn't that like Panda and the Fish or whatever? Wasn't that the stream that came from? I thought.
Panda and the fish. I don't know what a fish has to do with Panda. Huh.
You don't remember?
I mean, maybe. No, I don't really remember that.
It didn't have.
Was it early in the season or was it later?
You're not even
an
OG. I think it was somewhere in the first, like towards about a third of the season.
That's what I thought too, and I've looked through those streams, but I think it was a 3-hour stream because I think at like the 3rd hour point, that's kind of where the conversation goes. I haven't been able to find it. I'm an OG. I just don't have, my memory isn't as good as it should be probably.
Dro's asked him when you're gonna eat the Buffalo Wild Wings. He did do that. Are you on Discord, Alvaro? People have pictures of it.
Yeah,
dude, like.
Oh my god! I never want to see you make that face again. Dude, Trevin probably has that saved in his like meme gallery. Yeah, I bet you Trevin could tweet 100%. Out the picture of it within a minute. Trevin, that's your challenge. Tweet out that picture within a minute. Okay, just no context. Just tweet it out because I know you have it. I know you have it. And if you don't have it, then Reese has it. Okay? I don't know if Reese is in here, but I know if you don't have it, Reese has it. Because you guys always have the pictures of everything. The wings were during the suspension, the quarantine pandemic. Yeah. We were really struggling for content. That was basically...
Well, that had to do with picks against the spread, though.
Oh, yeah. What, did I lose
that was just one day. You were just like randomly you just said, okay, loser on picks against the spread tonight between you and me has to eat like the hottest wing at Buffalo Wild Wings or something. I was like, okay. And I was like, praying I didn't lose. So.
Yeah, and wasn't it close? I don't remember if it was close or not. Yeah. I just remember that I was pissed because I was scared. Chip of Death challenge.
Yeah, we don't want to be like someone else. Let's come up with original stuff, unlike that person who copies everything we do.
Yeah, hot wings challenge. That's original, right? I don't know anything.
I just meant in terms of Blazer fandom, Blazer YouTube channels.
Yeah. Huh. I didn't used to eat on live. What are you talking about, Dro?
You used to eat a lot on streams.
Did I?
Yeah.
During the quarantine?
I think it was before the quarantine, like when we first started.
Really?
Or you'd always have like a drink from somewhere.
I mean, I still have that. Like,
there was one time you were eating like a random donut or something on stream.
I mean, every now and then, probably. But
you used to just say like I'll be right back, and then you come back with like DoorDash that you ordered during the stream, and then you start eating.
Was that on Postgame? Well, okay, it was a more relaxed stream back then. We didn't go so try hard in terms of the basketball conversations.
I mean, we did, but
but like we also
stayed extra to do this.
We strayed off. But like during the pandemic, I kind of missed the quarantine streams in a way. Like it sucked. Like I don't miss them, but also it was just we had nothing to talk about, so it was just a bunch of BS, which at times could be kind of fun.
Yeah.
And that's like some of those. There's probably a lot of clips that would make a really good montage from just whatever the hell we talked about during those ones.
That was a shame because, like, obviously not many people cared about basketball during that time, but I felt like that was a lot of fun doing the shows to just Trevin and Alvaro and stuff.
There would be like 5 people in there, dude. I mean, those were dark days. Alvaro, Tori every 30 minutes. Okay, guys, I'm going to the corner market. Eric, keep them entertained. That's yeah. That's yeah. It wasn't every 30 minutes, but there is a gas station like 3 blocks from here. I live in a suburb. It's like just a bunch of houses and then one random gas station. So, nothing else is even close to here. So I can't like go real quick and get anything else other than that gas station. But I don't do that anymore. Except if I think I didn't I do it on the trade deadline stream, but that was like a 5-hour stream.
Yeah, that was different.
That's a little different. Like morning, I'm tired as hell. I need an energy drink. That's a little. But that's for the stream. That's so I have the fuel to do the stream. Tori make the stream short. You guys make me sound like a fat ass. Oh man. Remember who was saying he could take you 1-on-1? Yeah, it was probably Chiefin.
Or you're saying who Tori said he could take 1-on-1, because that was someone completely different.
What?
I don't know if you still think you could take him 1-on-1. Lee and Joel Ball.
Oh yeah, easy. That's not a question. Why'd you say it like that? Like that was even a question.
Okay.
I just don't let him shoot threes, and then I don't let him post me up from the 3-point line. Easy. Because that's his game. If he can't shoot a three, he's gonna post you up from the 3-point line. Yeah. Here's Greg too. Yeah, those are the days. But I want to make stream highlight montages of those times. Jackson, I would disintegrate if I had to play Kelchin. He would destroy me. He's the best player ever. I will play 1v1 versus Gabe this summer. I'm going to try and make it happen. Gabe?
Yeah.
I mean...
Oh, come on. What are you not opinionated? Come on, dude.
I mean, do you want to know what I really think? Or do you want to know, like...
Why would we not want to know what you really think? No, make something up to make Gabe feel better. Would you beat him 1-on-1? Just tell us the real answer, man. Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes. But, I mean, he's not in here, so yes. But, you know, I feel... For some reason, I feel bad about saying that. Why do I feel bad about saying that?
I don't know.
Like 2 years ago, I would say, hell yeah, I'll kill Gabe 1-on-1. He thinks he'll cook me. Gabe, I hope you think you can beat me, because then it'll be a good game. But yeah, I think I can beat Gabe.
That's the other thing we used to argue about all the time. Who is the better passer between you and me?
I recorded half my rec league game the other day, but I was in
put that on Discord.
Pass mode. Nah, I freaking, my shot fell apart. I had a good 16 minutes of the half in the last 4 or the last 3. I freaking sold. I airballed one and then I bricked another. Like my shot was just off. So
he's not here to defend himself. But would you beat Romp 1-on-1?
I don't know enough about Romp's game to say. I would like to think I would, but he's probably in better shape than me. So it's like, in a third game of 1-on-1, he'd probably beat me. In a first game of 1-on-1, I'd have a better chance. Sons Valley podcast, Tori just runs around. He tricked y'all. Nah, I do the opposite. I play well, but I walk around, dude. I walk the ball up the court. I have no shame about that. But... I'm trying to get... So, Eric, I'm trying to get Romp and Gabe to fly to Portland for the NBA draft.
Okay.
I want to do, like, a draft event. But I don't know what type of venue would be best. But, like, a venue where, like, we could stream and have, like, 100, 200 people show up. And then, like, have, like, a TV screen and a feed or something.
Yeah.
And then just unmute the volume for the pick. So the pick would come over the stream. And we could have Chris there. He could put the graphics in for us. It's just like I don't know what type of venue would work for that. But that would be something really cool to do. Like a draft event like that and stream from like a draft event and have like Gabe and Romp there. So I've been thinking about that. We have 3 months. We'd have to start like planning it now. But I'm trying to get them to fly up for the draft. And I assume you would want in on the action too. We'd have to play some 2v2 for a video. There would be videos. We'd have like 5 videos for like July. We'd release 1 a week from our runs. You guys would get some videos of like me versus Gabe or me and Eric versus Gabe and Romp or something like that.
We would for sure have to have a meetup for like everyone to come play.
Oh yeah, that would be the plan. Is like one day we do like a meetup, like a big like large scale thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then one day we just do like us four or something and for video content.
How much would people pay to get to come play with Gabe Guerrero, man?
See, I could charge double.
Yeah.
See, I just want to make the money back on just renting the gym. You know, that's it.
Tori and I have played one-on-one twice. He kicked my butt both times.
See, the only reason I did was because I was hitting threes, though. If I wasn't hitting threes, it would probably have been a different story.
And I couldn't make anything. But yeah. I can admit that Tori is the better one-on-one player than me, especially at my old age.
See, I will give you the 1v1 if you say I'm a better passer.
What do you mean?
Like, I'd rather you say I'm a better passer than you than you say I'm the better 1v1 player.
But the passing is like all I have, man. That's like my game. That's
no, you got the low
like,
post moves. What do you mean?
I know, but like I don't care about those. Like I want to be known as a passer. I want to be like the
We're
Jokic
both
type
passers, bro.
Yeah.
Terry Stotts would hate our game because we pass the ball instead of isolate.
Yeah.
Although in my rec league game, I see, like I could have instead of the post game show, I could have just played my rec footage on stream. Could have just done that instead. Are you guys disappointed we didn't do that instead?
You should have just live streamed it.
I don't have good enough internet, I think, to live stream it.
Dro, we didn't actually have any rules, but Tori mentioned that beforehand, and it was in my head the whole time. I didn't want to post them up at all, even though I could have easily done it. But like he was like, "Hey, don't just post me up."
So in high school, I played this dude who we'd play 1-on-1, and he wasn't good, but he was big. And whenever I played him 1-on-1, he started the 3-point line and just back me down. He would take like 40 dribbles if it took that much to get me under the rim, and then he'd shoot.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like he was just like weighed 50 pounds more than me. You know, I was super skinny. I was like 180 or something. He was like 230. And he just I couldn't do anything. So I was like, dang, Eric, hopefully you're not that type of guy. I was thinking about him when I said that, but I was like, man, Eric could probably just back me down until I'm under the rim and just hook shot. Nothing I can do. But I'm also like 45 pounds heavier now, so maybe, you know. And back then I think I was a little lighter too, so. I didn't dunk on Peyton Pritchard, Alvaro. I blocked him though. Claim to fame. Yeah, Eric's 6'6". Sorry, should I let you answer that? You could say you're 6'6".
Yeah. I'm 6'6".
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I'm 6'4". Okay, like decent height. But Eric's like, 2 inches taller, so not really. I have to like poke at the ball if you post up. I have to try and like mess up your dribble and then push you away.
Sure.
What?
Let's see you try Nashka.
Oreo Shack. Tori, do you know how tall Romp is? Like 6'2".
So I'd be posting up Gabe then?
Yeah. But I could post up Romp too. We could just, I'll post him up too. Nah, I don't like playing in the post. I should play more in the post, but in high school I had to play in the post, so now I never play in the post. That'd be a good 2v2 game though.
Thanks for the nice comment, Brandon Tatum. He says, being a Blazer fan has its moments. Glad I found this channel about a year ago. Always good hanging out and listening to you guys. Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, Brandon. I thought you were talking about his comment saying y'all ready to spring forward, and I was really confused. But
well, we're only an hour and a half away from that. It's about to be.
I hate that it's today.
Go from 2 to 3.
Because I've been cutting my sleep short and waking up early to watch games, man.
Brandon, you still collecting Pokemon cards?
My wingspan's like probably 6'5" overall. I I wish I had a
I
longer
don't,
wingspan.
I don't have a good wingspan either.
Yeah, we're Tyler Hero out here.
I've got what was who was the guy in the draft that had the small hands?
Kwame Brown.
No, in the NFL Combine. Sorry, I should have been more specific.
Oh,
Was it Pickett that everyone was
yeah, I think
complaining
so.
about his
I think
eight
so.
and a half inch hands or whatever? I don't have the biggest hands.
Connor
Make
said,
up
"Bro, I
for it.
woke up."
Other areas, but
Yeah. What?
nothing. Ugh. Oh, you got a
Anyway,
newborn, Brandon? That's cool. Congratulations. Yeah, Kenny
um,
Pickett. Kind
yeah.
of like eight and a half is small, I guess.
Connor said, "Bro, I woke up at 3:30 p.m. today. I feel like I'm living in a different reality." Dang, Connor. What, Jackson? You good? You good?
Yeah, change the subject.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Brandon,
Anyway,
have you
so
gotten any of those Brilliant Stars packs? I really like that set a
ask
lot.
your question, hardcore Blazer fan. Ask it. This is a nostalgia little end to the stream. This is what we used to do. This is what it would be,
Yeah.
and it was so easy, and so relaxed, and not so try hard. Alvaro, the answer is no. Gabe was hating on my rec footage though.
Oh, you showed him.
Yeah, he was in the VCs, so I showed him.
Yeah.
But I mean, I was playing against a dude who played at Portland State,
Yeah.
so Mr. Pyan. I know I say it kind of maybe like it's a joke, but it's not a joke, and it's not a joke. It's not a joke. I blocked him. I felt like I made it. It was all downhill from there.
I'm trying to think who the best player I've blocked is.
Michael
Probably Ime.
Ime.
Yeah.
There's a question for you, Eric, via AJ Poseidon.
Wingspan could affect a player in the slot. Yeah, so I think there's several players, AJ Griffin included, Matherin. Trying to think who else. I don't think it'll affect the big three that much. I don't think it'll affect Ivy that much. I don't think it'll affect Johnny Davis much, but if he has a bigger wingspan than thought, that it might help him a little bit. But overall, probably won't matter too much. Trying to think. Keegan's measurements probably don't matter a whole lot. Duran's measurements probably matter a lot. Tari Easton's measurements could vault him higher or lower depending if they're good or not. Nikola Jovic's measurements could matter a lot. Yeah, I don't know. There's several.
Hardcore Blazer fans' question is: I'm looking into a career having to do with basketball, but not playing basketball, more like doing the background stuff. Do you know how much it takes? It depends on what you mean by background stuff. Do what I do.
At what level?
Yeah. Do what I do. Cover the NBA. Become the heir apparent to another YouTuber and then take him down from the inside and take over. And then we can have YouTube friends. Do I think I could score non-zero points in the NBA? How many minutes do I have to score non-zero points? You give me 500 minutes, I'm definitely getting at least 2 points. Heir apparent. Dang it, Connor, it's past midnight. Leave me alone. Garbage time 10 minutes? I mean, if Keljan can, then I can. Like, if I got an open 3, I would have a chance at making it. It wouldn't be a high chance, but I'd have a chance at making it.
This is gonna sound dumb, but like, I don't like my game in garbage time minutes, so I don't know.
Except if you're
Like
playing
it's
against
just like,
Hassan Whiteside.
yeah. Well, I mean, he wouldn't be playing in garbage time, so
Oh, yeah, he does. Remember, he was
maybe
flexing
then
on
it's
us
fair.
when they were up like 40.
Yeah, true. Yeah, if I could isolate him in the post and he didn't get any help, then it would be over. But yeah, unfortunately, he'd probably call for a double team or something, and I'd have to score over two Jazz players, and then yeah.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, we'll record our runs if we can. So when we set up runs, I want to rent out 2 courts for 2 hours if that's possible. I don't know where, but obviously like a high school or something. And then I would. I think I could probably set up something on the website where I could sell tickets. So I'd probably just do that, just pre-sell them to cover the cost of renting it, and just to make sure we have enough, and then go from there.
Gopal, that's why he said it probably wasn't a high chance of making it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a tough question to answer, Brandon. I'd definitely pick him up if he played, but yeah, who knows if they'll rest him or not, since they've already have done that a couple times. I'm actually the opposite. If someone just like daring me to shoot and leaves me open, I'm not as good a shooter as if someone's kind of coming at me. Now, contested, of course, it's harder, but like if someone's running out at you, but they're not going to get there, but they have their hand up, I feel like I I'd shoot better in that situation.
Yeah, I just gotta be stepping into mine. The problem is my rec footage. There was a couple where like I was like stepping backwards to catch the ball and then trying to turn without stepping into it and shoot, and it was the end of the game, so I airballed short. Like just didn't have enough legs stepping like that, so is what it is. That used to be the best part about my game, and now it's probably the worst. So anyway, yeah, we'll be streaming live tomorrow. We'll drop an article in the morning, college basketball article. So stay on the lookout for that. And then I'll drop my final bracketology after that and go live on Blazers Uprise Live. I might go live on Blazers Uprise Live when I'm making my final bracketology and just kind of talk to y'all. Just be a chilled, laid back stream. And then we'll be live again on Monday with Blazers Uprise Live, and then a post-game show on Monday. That's when we play next, right?
Yep.
Cool.
It's a 4:30 game, so
great. I hate 4:30 games, but yeah. So we'll go like Blazers Uprise Live straight into the game. So that'll be cool. It'll be a pre-game show, I guess, but we'll probably not talk about the game. We'll talk about whatever. Streams are going to be more kind of like the end of this one, and I enjoy that. You know, those are always fun. Just to chill with you guys and interact with chat a little bit more. But yeah, anything else you want to say for this stream?
No, I just appreciate everyone that watched tonight, especially all of you who stuck around to this point. Really glad to have all of you as part of this channel. And yeah, hope everyone has a good rest of your weekend. And don't forget, if your phone doesn't automatically do it, then an hour and a half, the clocks get set forward an hour.
Yep. If you want to join my $20 buy-in bracket pool, DM me, message me on Discord, or send me an email, blazersurprise@gmail.com. Let me know if you want to join that. $20 buy-in. We're going to try and do payouts for first, second, and third, so that should be fun. Greg is asking how we still have 100 people in here. Greg, I'm insulted, Greg. Of course we still have 100 people in here. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. People enjoy, I enjoy throwing it back a little bit, just chilling with you guys. So that's always good. It's a little change of pace.
As Bonnie points out, hate to break it to you, Atari, but we're on an East Coast road trip, so like the next 5 games are pretty much all early.
Well, once at 12, I'm fine with 12:30 because then the post game show is like 3 to 5, and then dinner shifts right after then. You know what I mean? So that'll be fine. But
and that's the one I'm gonna miss. So
yeah, you're gonna miss like 4 days of streams. So I'm gonna be solo streaming. Gabe's gonna be doing double duty or something, man. Because that's the thing. I'm not gonna be talking much about games anyway. If we're just gonna be BSing, then who's the perfect guy for that? To replace you when you're gone, then Gabe.
Oh man, that's not gonna be good for you, Tori.
Why are people saying pause? What did I say that was sus?
He said you. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want people to clip it.
Oh, say it. What did I say?
No, it's in chat right above us.
Oh, I don't even see it. I have top chat on.
Oh,
Let me turn on the live chat. I still have the poll up too. I just realized that. Oh god, Jackson, you're getting a 5-minute ban to end the stream. Second mod I've had to put in timeout. Hate to see it. Do any other mods want a timeout? Just for good old time's sake, since we're really throwing it back to the good old days.
What he said something.
I mean, it's not even. That's a phrase. That's a very common phrase, man. It's not my fault we got all these quote unquote 14-year-olds, which apparently the only people who watch me. Good night, Brandon. Thanks for tuning in, man. To whatever this stream has been.
And everyone else.
Gabe says, I'll try not to have a delay. Yeah, maybe I'll just do it on StreamYard for you and capture the StreamYard. But Suns Valley Pod got new graphics. Yeah, you know, Gabe definitely made all of them. It looks phenomenal, Gabe. You're better than me at Photoshop. Good job, man.
Congratulations to Gerg, a 14-year-old in college.
Nice. Doing big things. Good old running start 2 years early. When do they start running start? Like junior year? I don't remember. Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with this. It's time to end the stream before we hit 3 hours. All right. Because at 3 hours my brain turns to mush. I'll be streaming tomorrow on Blazers Uprise Live second channel.
Hours.
Yeah, we're at 2 hours and 57 minutes. I mean, it's always kind of mushy, but at some point it turns into applesauce, you know. So we'll be I keep saying but I'll be streaming tomorrow, and maybe we'll be streaming tomorrow for Selection Sunday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, and then Monday we'll have 2 streams. That stream tomorrow will be on Blazers Uprise Lives. That's our second channel. Link at the top of the description. Go subscribe. Other than that, hopefully you have a good rest of your Saturday night and a good Sunday if I don't catch you tomorrow. Stay tuned for the articles dropping on the website. And I don't know, you sound like you wanted to say something.
Oh, no.
You always do the... You always do like a little sound when you want to say something. I'm always like feed off of it.
I subconsciously do that.
I know.
When I make videos, I do that like the whole video. I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah. See, like, I always think that's a cue that you want to say something. So then I stop and like go to let you say something, and every now and then you don't say anything, and I'm like, shoot. I did take a
drink of water, but yeah.
Oh, that's probably what it was. I didn't see that. Anyway,
and I was also reading. Brandon messaged me about Pokemon cards, so I was reading about that. So I was completely distracted.
Okay, we got 80 more seconds until it's 3 hours, so we gotta log off before then. We can't do a 3-hour stream. Then nobody will click on it and watch it back. So we're gonna sign off here. Hopefully, you guys have a good rest of your night. Thank you for making us a part of yours. Shut up, Eric. Until next time. As always, peace out. Go Blazers.